Same mind, where you going back tonight? I saw a fire in your bloodshot eyes. Same mind, where you going back tonight? I saw a fire in your bloodshot eyes. Bloodshot. Oh, 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 oh. Bloodshot. Same mind, where you going back tonight? I saw a fire in your bloodshot eyes. Same mind, where you going back tonight? I saw a fire in your bloodshot eyes. I had some days I didn't wanna wake up. These things in my head, I feel like tearing apart. It took what's left of me and tried to get so far. 'Cause I won't give up.
See, now I'm just messing with people.
For a new start. You feel the same if you were at the back of my mind, trying to.
What's with the country love songs.
You know, this playlist has been kind of disappointing me lately, and it's like the only one I can play on Facebook.
That's what it is. Facebook's like, here's the crappy ones. You can only play these.
Because like I have a license for music to play, but it only works on YouTube and on Twitch. Facebook will tell us that we still don't have the license for it, and it's like, no, we have a license for it.
License to ill, tell you that much.
If I could play that, I would be a happy man.
Hey, wear a different hat. I'm wearing the gray one.
The gray one matches my shirt.
Ah, shit.
Suck.
Maybe we need a Deadpool distance nerding shirt. Like,
oh, you know what? Don't make me happy like that. Just
don't tease me.
Don't tease me. Don't do that. You have no idea of the immense.
Are you ready to do this?
You know what? Now I'm ready to do this. Let's do this.
Distance nerding.
Yeah. Hey! Oh!
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is here. You've been waiting all week. You are now listening and watching to Distance Nerding. He's the
Gotham Geek.
Yeah.
No, me.
Oh,
see?
Wait a minute.
See?
Oh, he's muted. We can't unmute him.
You're muted. What happened?
How about now?
There you go.
There he is. Let's do it again. Take two. He's the Gotham Geek.
Gotham Guy, that's me.
And he's Young Phil.
And he's Jamez 5000.
And we're here to nerd together. We're nailing it. We're talking about anything pop culture, movies, food, music, wrestling, Deadpool, whatever you're nerding out on, we want to talk about it.
Now, guys, you got to follow us on all the places that exist where social media is: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Linktree, TikTok, all at Distance Nerding. Oh, man, do we have so much for you guys tonight. So much fun.
Oh, yeah.
All the things tonight.
Yep, and let's get to it because your friend Marissa Dunlap, she went over what she was having for dinner, and I'm getting hella hungry. So get this rolling because, yeah, she got me all. Save a plate for me, Marissa, if you can.
Can you make me like a to-go box, Mizzo?
Exactly.
You know, just make me a little something. Something
Take to work.
A little bit.
Okay.
Hold the asparagus.
It's like
asparagus.
I don't need the asparagus.
Yeah.
I mean, I would want tacos, but that sounds really good. What she's making sounds really good.
Yep.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to even say what it is for the listeners listening to the podcast. This is just for the viewers who are in the chat right now. This should entice you to go and watch the show live. Now, guys, before I get into what's on deck, ladies and gentlemen, he's already on the screen, but still there. You know, I got to do the introduction here. He's a pretty good nerdy friend of ours. He's been on a lot of our wrestling streams, and you know, I figured, dude, he's a giant nerd. He's actually he was actually Jackie's friend, and now we're friends. So
we can be friends,
and we can be friends, right? Throwing it out there, ladies and gentlemen, it's my boy, the Gotham Geek, Fred Jackson.
Hey,
what's up, everybody? Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah, man.
Double G. What did we do last time? We called you Double G.
That's right, G.
Double G.
Double G.
Like
Double
Jeff
G.
Jarrett, but black and more buff.
That would be his like album title, like Double G, Black and More Buff. You know what
Black
I
and more
mean?
buff.
Blacker and buffer.
Blacker and buffer. There you go. Blacker and buffer. Can't use slap nuts because that's I'll get sued. But but
Right.
yeah, I like that. Blacker and buffer.
Blacker and buffer. Right.
Yes, but
That's
thank you for
awesome.
having me on the show. I appreciate it. I know it was last minute, so I'm glad I can spend some time with you guys this evening.
And you
Lot
guys
to
go.
cover.
So you guys go way back, right? This is like Best Buy days for you two. Is that what it
No.
is?
Absolutely. Actually, we don't. We had mutual friends at Best Buy.
Right.
Me and Chris go back. Right.
Oh,
But,
right.
yeah, me and Fred actually met through Jackie.
Yep.
And then we started going and watching nerd movies together and
We
seeing
saw Blade Runner 2020
49.
2049. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was good. That was good. I
Mhm.
met you at the restaurant, Nelson Brante, the little sports bar.
That's right. We were watching the
It was a boxing match.
the boxing match. Yeah.
Yeah. Can't remember who fought.
It
can't
was
remember.
Floyd Mayweather and
Logan Paul.
the Irish close. The Irish MMA fighter. What's his name? I always forget his name.
Conor
Conor McGregor.
McGregor.
McGregor. Yes. Before he was a household name.
Well, this is when he was a household name because that was why he had enough balls to call out
That's
Floyd
right.
Mayweather.
Mm-hmm.
But he became more household because he called out.
Because he called out Floyd Mayweather, yeah.
Yeah.
No, he became a millionaire because he called out Floyd Mayweather.
Right.
And
Got that boxing
That's
money.
Floyd Mayweather.
No matter what happens, you're going to make some money. No matter what happens, no matter what the outcome is.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, that payday must have been ridiculous because that's one of those things where you lose and you still make ridiculous amounts of money.
Kind of like the Floyd Mayweather fight. It was like I think Comcast was charging $100 for that pay-per-view.
Yeah, dude.
$100, dude. Yeah, it's crazy.
Hence why we went and watched it at a bar and we didn't know
Right.
it.
Exactly. That's why you go to the bar. We'll just pay for dinner.
And people paid it. People paid it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And by the way, people are paying for us to talk about nerdy stuff. So let's get into the nerdy stuff.
Do this. So, guys, this week on deck, we've got the download.
Oh, I'm supposed to talk here. Sequels, Spooky Toys, Space Mountain, and Snyderverse. Oh my.
I was like, did James fall asleep?
He's like,
Starting rumors.
Is the Punisher also born again?
What you watching?
So much to watch.
he's frozen in time.
Yeah, like James died and then froze. What's going on?
What?
here?
I'm not frozen. I'm right here. What are you talking about?
Okay. For a second, you were dead.
Yeah,
Oh.
we didn't hear anything you said, man.
I know. I was thinking, James dies anytime.
Finish this piece because I think I know what's going on. I think my computer got unplugged.
Oh,
Freaking
man.
out.
All right, we'll go move to the next one. And then the last segment we're doing, guys, growing up Kiki.
What did you nerd out on as a kid?
But before we get into all of that,
Hey, I'll tell you what was screwing me up. Marissa was messaging us in our chat, and I was like, "Is something going on?" So I thought something was wrong. So I thought, and I also thought maybe she was really going to make me to-go plate. So I thought I should say thank you. But let me go fix my computer. Be right back.
all right,
Okay.
guys, before we jump into anything else, of course,
But first,
let me get a shout out. Now, guys, remember the entire stream, our channels, everything that we do here at Distance Nerding is, of course, brought to you by Poddex. Ladies and gentlemen, Poddex, our unique interview question and starting prompts in the palm of your hand. So whether you are
a new podcaster or an existing broadcaster looking to grow your audience, get more engagement, you're going to want to check out poddex.com. Use code nerding10, nerding0.
I think he froze again.
And he's frozen again.
Use Nerding10 to get 10% off of your order. Guys, they have all kinds of stuff. They've got the decks, they've got merch, they got like shirts and all kinds of stuff. It is awesome. Guys, head over to poddex.com and use the code Nerding10 to get 10% off of your order. Now, of course, got to throw it out there. A lot of people always ask, Phil, what gives you so much energy? You're always so energized and wild and crazy and whatnot. And I'll tell you what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, Young Phil is brought to you by Dubby. Dubby is an emerging brand of energy drinks created to help focus, concentration, reaction time with no jitters or crash. Dubby contains no maltodextrin, no sugar, no fillers, no artificial colors, no dyes. Guys, you got to find out more about Dubby. Head over to www.dubby.gg and use the code NERDING10 to get 10% off your order. Now, guys, there are 5 delicious flavors. You've got Dub Sludge, you've got Galaxy Grenade, you've got Dragonade. We've got the new flavors in Beach and Peach and Passion Joy Tea, and then of course the non-caffeinated flavor, the newest flavor of on the deck. Is Monkey Madness, which is a hydration flavor, and it is awesome. Guys, if you have not tried it, you should check it out. Again, use the code NERDING10. You get 10% off of your order. If you are planning to see us at a con soon, which we'll talk about our next appearances here in the Geek End Update pretty soon. But if you guys haven't checked it out, we usually give out free samples. So if you want to try everything out and taste everything, it's going to be pretty great for you guys to try all the flavors here. And again, we have all of them, or we'll make it on the fly, so that way we'll try everything out. So let me head back over here real quick. Now, guys, we lost the Jamez just for a second, but that just being there, lately he's been doing it, so this is a good chance for me to do it again. And there he is. Never mind, James, you're here back in time.
Use code NERDING10 for that 10% off. All right.
It's like he never left.
Exactly, right? It's almost right. It would have been frozen. It would have been perfect if he was 5 seconds, in sooner. But either way, James, I think it's time. You know what time it is?
It's about that time.
It's about that time. You want to say it?
No, I don't.
All right, I'll say it. It's time for the Geek End Update!
Well, I didn't know we were going to say that. I would have said that. Anyway.
What do we got coming up, man?
Coming up October 8th, Grants Pass, Oregon. Up in Oregon. We're going to Oregon. Anna Medford is coming October 8th. So go check it out. It's the same place we were at Metal Art Comic Con. So if you came to Metal Art Comic Con, it's going to be at the same spot. So Anna Medford, Southern Oregon's only anime convention. It's going to be tons of vendors, tons of artists. I forgot who we met up there last time. Was it Floyd? Our buddy Floyd?
Oh, yeah.
Garbage Pail.
Floyd Sumner. He's one of the artists from Garbage Pail Kids.
Yeah, that was awesome.
The cards?
Yeah.
Or no way.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome, dude. Like he showed us a bunch of original artwork. It's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Man.
And while we were interviewing him, he was just drawing in his notebook. And then he's like, anybody want like an atom bomb? And he just drew an atom bomb while we were sitting up there talking to him. It was great. But we got a ton of guests. Did you see, Philippe? We got like 5 panels that we got to handle.
I saw that. So I got to start writing panels now. But I mean,
just so you're aware.
Yeah, you should.
and this is like a little anime fest up in Oregon. So we have Nazia Chandri. I'm assuming I said that right because Philippe hasn't corrected me yet. So voice actress, singer, known for voicing Misaki Tanabe on Wonder Egg Priority, Nambia on Attack on Titan, and then we also have Gray Griffin, who you formerly known as Gray Delisle.
I was gonna say the name that everybody knows.
I know that's true, but it's her new name. You gotta say the new name, right?
Because she's married, so I get that, but everybody knows her as Gray Delisle.
So I mean, probably the most famous thing, she's Azula from Avatar: The Last Airbender. She'll be there.
Dude, she's been in every show that you've ever liked as a 90s kid. So I mean,
she's
dude, Gray Delisle's in everything.
I know. And then speaking of in everything, Olivia Hack will also be there. So she was in Nickelodeon's Hey Arnold, right?
Yep.
She was Ty Lee in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Actually, Grey Griffin and Olivia Hack were both in Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Oh.
So that'll be fun to talk about.
Now, I always bring this up too. Is not only is Olivia Hack part of all that, like she's known now as a voice actress, but she was also the new Cindy in the Brady Bunch movies from the 90s.
That's true. That's true.
Right. She played Cindy Brady in all those like, you know, very Brady Holiday and very Brady whatever, all those movies, the Very Brady movies.
Oh, you mean, okay, I thought you meant the parody, the satire movies. You're talking about the Brady Bunch movies and TV shows they actually aired on CBS or whatever.
No, the remake movies where
the ones you're talking about.
Yeah,
those.
Like they were still in the 70s, but like it took place in the 90s.
Right.
Yeah.
Daddy, there's a Brady in our yard.
Yeah. So she played Cindy Brady in all those.
Oh man, she was great.
Yeah.
She was great. You just super the juice. What? You just super the juice. What?
I always thought it was funny that she was a good enough actress at that age that she put on a lisp to do Cindy Brady because she doesn't have. So it's like that's awesome.
Yeah, to put on that, to actually, like I don't have a list, but I can do one. I can do one for this.
Right.
Dude, I'm excited to talk to them. I was like looking about it. I'm like, oh, I need to go get some new Funko Pops. I need to get some Azula and some Ty Lee Funko Pops. So we got to hit up Beehive. We got to hit up Fugitive Toys. We got to hit up Toy Fusion. We got to get us some pops before we head up there.
Right.
But don't forget, October 8th, Grants Pass, Oregon. Come check it out. It's going to be fun. Annie Medford. So if you want to check out tickets, check out the panels we're going to do, it's Annie-Medford.com. Yay.
Ooh, that's an interesting flavor I did there.
Ooh, what happened?
So this is the first time I've done these two flavors together. I did Galaxy Grenade and Passion Joy Tea. Passion Joy Tea is a passion fruit iced tea, and Galaxy Grenade is watermelon, guava, and lime. So this is a watermelon, guava, lime, and passion fruit iced tea. Ooh, it's actually pretty. It's good. It's very different. It's not what I was expecting. So, but I like it. It's good.
So say
0 calories.
What happened?
0 calories. He was asking.
Yeah, 0 calories.
Oh yeah, 0 calories, 0 sugar. It doesn't have like all the fillers and everything, so like it's really they're really small scoops. Like the containers don't look like they're that big, but this has 30 servings in it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So this actually has more than your average tub of G Fuel. I'm sorry, I'm a competitor. I'm not. Sorry, I'm
not supposed to say G Fuel.
The leading brand.
The leading brand of powdered energy drink.
Let's try the other guy's energy drink.
Other guys. No, W is getting a lot of like awards and stuff. You know what, man? I didn't think about it until Darren said it in the chat. But I should probably invite the CEO of W on the show.
Yeah, he seems like a nice dude. He's always like thanking us for posting stuff.
Yeah, and he reposts a lot of our posts. So I mean, like it's pretty dope.
Like, yeah, man, you owe us, man. Yeah, come on, get on the show.
I'm pretty
sure. Give me a magnet or something.
I'm pretty sure we're also the only people who are like giving out free samples because everybody else that they're sponsored by are just like, you know, gamers and streamers. So I'm pretty sure we're the only ones going to like cons and giving out samples of their stuff for free.
Good point. By the way, Darren's asking like he should get a discount. Dude, you get a discount.
10% off.
10% off Nerding 10.
Use Nerding 10 and you get 10% off.
W.GG, yo.
No, he wants 10% off your discount. See.
Oh, I see how it is.
That's the message he's trying to convey.
He wants that $5.50 free. That's what he's looking for.
Low.
All right, let's do this. Let's get into this.
Yeah,
man. So I can make some dinner because Marissa's making me hungry.
I know,
right?
Just we all want what she's putting down right now, right?
Exactly. Yep.
But guys, I think at this point it is now time for the download. And
Don't forget, check out the Distant Sturrington Post for all the news, all the trailers, all the reactions, all the rumors, everything coming in the Distance Nerdington Post on Facebook. So all you got to do is search Distance Nerdington Post, and we're right there. I think we're like over 800 some people. Like, Darren's posting, Cam's posting, I'm posting, Philippe's posting. Everybody's posting all kinds of news. I was so happy. I was the first one to post the Deadpool news today.
Good job. Good call on that.
And you were, and that.
I beat everybody.
Yep.
It was so good. I was so happy. Am I frozen again?
No,
I can't. There you go. I can't hear Philippe. Okay, there we go. There's Philippe. Okay.
There we go. I wasn't saying anything until I saw my picture pop back up. So we're
okay. Yeah, but he was saying he was the first. He was the first one.
No, what happened? Yeah. I switched from Wi-Fi to hardwire, so that's probably why it just did that to me right now.
Cool.
Gotcha. All right, let's get into this. We got some news. We got all kinds of stuff going on. So, okay, J.J. Abrams hasn't given up on the Cloverfield franchise just yet.
You know what?
What did you guys think of Cloverfield?
What happened?
What do you think of Cloverfield?
I like the Cloverfield movies, man. The first one, it was a little shaky, but it was good. 10 Cloverfield Lane was amazing. Because you don't even know that it's a Cloverfield movie until like the very end. So it's like, it's very much a kind of like jump or like a psychological like leap into the mind of these people who are hiding from these aliens. And then the Cloverfield Paradox was okay, but like the first two movies were actually really good.
Now the second one had John Goodman in it, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. A little star power. So let's see. Abrams is set to produce another film in the franchise. He's not directing; he's producing it. And he's hired Wounds director Babak Anvari to helm the next installment of the horror sci-fi franchise for Paramount. So, also Matt Reeves and Drew Goddard will executive produce the full film, with Joe Barton set to write the script. So, I mean, they're putting some money, they're putting some names behind this. J.J. Abrams is into it. Matt Reeves is into it. So,
Drew Goddard. Did Matt Reeves direct any of these movies?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I can't remember who directed though. I can't remember who directed the first one. I think Abrams produced the first one.
I thought Abrams directed the first one too. That's right. Because I could have sworn it was the movie that made that gave him the current fame that he has right now.
You're like, good job, Matt. Have you ever heard of Star Wars? I'm like, yeah. Good job, I don't know. If somebody could IMDb it or something, that'd be great.
That's actually what I'm doing right now. Go ahead.
So Cloverfield was directed by Matt Reeves, but who directed the other two?
Oh, okay.
The first one was directed by Matt. Oh, it was directed by Matt Reeves. The first one was directed by Matt Reeves.
10 Cloverfield Lane was directed by Dan Trachtenberg.
That's right.
Okay.
I remember that being a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then Julius Ona directed Cloverfield Paradox.
And that was the one that was like the first. That movie was the first like big budget movie to make its way onto Netflix.
Yeah.
I remember it being a big deal that this movie didn't go to theaters and ended up going on Netflix, and people freaked out.
But you know what? In hindsight, I'm kind of glad that happened, because it seems a little big budget B-rated when they were on the ship. I mean, that's just me.
Yeah.
The story, it's epic, and it ties in at the very end, and it ties into the first one. But I kind of got that direct-to-video feel with the third one. I'm not saying I wasn't entertained, and the story wasn't engaging to some extent, but I definitely have to put the second one up there. But I'm still a big fan of the first one, and my only complaint is that if they're continuing the Cloverfield story, is it based off the first one? Because my understanding after watching the first one was the sequel was supposed to be from another point of view of the same day the same monster that's attacking, but from a different part of the city. You know, more monster kaiju, more. I'm not saying it has to be more shaky cam or more, you know, point of view or whatever, but that was my understanding. So if they do this fourth one, which, you know, if they can, you know, get it going, I hope it's more on the monster that we're seeing right now on the screen. That's what I want. That's what I was hoping for.
Right.
You know, we knew the government was involved somehow. The first movie kind of led to that. I want to see more of that. They knew what was going on before all the, you know, the civilians. Why? What's going on?
Right. And
Where's
and
the
the
monster
big,
come from?
right, the big thing about this about the monster / alien, the kaiju that showed up in the first movie was that it was a baby. And this thing
Right.
was like the size, like it engulfed New York City. So imagine what a full grown one of these things would like be.
Exactly. So who knows? Maybe it might be years later, you know, the aftermath of that night. You know, I'm still hoping that it's just the same night. You know, that's what I'm hoping, but I don't know. I don't know. But, you know, but I'm down. You know, I mean, it can't be worse than the third one. So, you know,
Like I said, generally I like the series. Just, you know,
yeah.
I think they could have done a better job with the third movie. But again, 10 Cloverfield Lane was great.
Yeah, that was good. Second one was good.
You know what's interesting? You kind of brought it up, but like Cloverfield Paradox, that went straight to Netflix, right? Like one of the first movies. I think there's something a little bit more forgiving, you know, with a movie that goes straight to streaming and it doesn't land. It's like, now we see why I went straight to streaming. Whereas like if it was in theaters, everybody would be like, oh, that was horrible. Yeah. Why was that movie made? You know, like kill that franchise. Where if it's, you know, straight to a streaming service, okay.
Yeah, because Cloverfield Paradox had a release date, and then they ended up, I guess Netflix bought the rights to it to put it on Netflix, and then
that's right. And did they announce it at the Super Bowl? Like right after the Super Bowl, it's like you can stream it right now or something.
Yeah, like they announced the movie, in the Super Bowl commercial, and they said movie now streaming on Netflix, and people freaked out. It was like, wait a minute, they just announced this movie and it's already on Netflix?
Netflix right now? They're like, how much time is there left in the game?
Yeah.
The game is over, right? Okay.
And then after that, their next big budget thing was Bright, and those two movies ushered in what we have now with like all these big budget movies and shows on Netflix.
Look at you. Look at you. So smart with Hollywood coming to Netflix. All right, let's keep going. We don't have any casting news or plot details yet, but once we get them, we'll be sharing them.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's keep it going because I have look, man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe news.
That's exactly how you got to say it. See, you got to flow out more. You've been hanging around this dude too long.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little odd, but you know, I got it. So we got some casting news for the Beverly Hills Cop series. So check this out. So we're getting some of the original cast members back. We're getting, you know, Eddie Murphy as Axel Foley, but then Judge Reinhold said or confirmed that he's coming back as Rosewood and John Ashton as Taggart. We're also getting Paul Reiser back to be his partner. What was his name? Jeffrey Friedman or whatever.
Yeah.
They're still partners.
I know, right?
After all those, he still was like.
That's Detroit, man. Nothing ever changes. It's Michigan. You know, what are you going to do?
Gotcha.
And Bronson Pinchot is confirmed to be coming back as the art gallery salesman.
Sayarge.
Would you like a spritzer with a lemon twist? With a lemon?
It's really good. You should try it. I'm good. No, thank you. Axel. Foley's here to see you, acquaintance.
Oh, God.
So good.
Look at the shirt. There's a scrub.
Bronson Pinchot was like my favorite character in that movie.
Hey, Damon Wayans had a debut in that too. People don't know. People forget. He was at the buffet and sold them the bananas. No, he gave them the bananas. He said, "Shh, go ahead, take those bananas."
So you go ahead.
You
take the bananas.
It'd be funny if there was a cameo by Damon Wayans Jr. because he looks so much like his dad.
Oh, that's right.
Right. And in certain things, or I won't say he looks just like him, just like with certain facial expressions, he looks just like his dad.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
Like that scene at the end of the other guys, right? When he goes, I hope you like prison food and
right,
penis. When he does that, he looks just like his dad.
right, exactly. Yeah, it's like there we go. That's what we want.
Yeah, because like like he doesn't 100% look like his dad all the time, right? Like you can see the resemblance, but when he does certain
Right.
facial expressions, it's like that's Damon Wayans right there.
Right, exactly.
So what would be funny is if Axel goes to go buy some new bananas, some more bananas.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's Damon Wayans' son, but it's the same character. He's like,
Yeah.
Don't you get old?
Yeah.
Right. It's like, don't you? Never mind.
You back for more bananas?
Right, exactly. Exactly.
All right, so we're getting all those actors back, including Eddie Murphy, but we're also getting newcomers to the franchise. Joseph Gordon-Levitt
Nice.
and Taylor Page is going to be in it, so kind of cool.
Okay.
There's a lot of acting power in this. So Mark Malloy is directing the script by Will Beal. Jerry Bruckheimer and Chad Oman are producing for Jerry Bruckheimer Films, along with Eddie Murphy.
Jerry Bruckheimer produced the originals, right?
Yeah.
So that's a pretty cool.
The big orange poster, especially in part 2, because Tony Scott directed the second one. God rest his soul, Tony Scott. Well after Top Gun, and so it has that nice gritty orange, hazy scenes and stuff like that. And Bruckheimer and Tony Scott did a lot of movies together, so I'm happy that Bruckheimer's back on board for this one. Exactly. And you know what else? I kind of like how they're doing the Cobra Kai thing. They're seeing the formula, and it's like, okay, you pay homage to the original. That's what you do. They're still the focal point, and then you introduce new characters. That help. That kind of goes along with them. You don't just be like if they would have did just a new like Joseph Gordon-Levitt played a new cop. The new wisecracking cynic cop who doesn't play by the rules. And then Axel and Eddie Murphy was cameos. It wouldn't have worked. So you have to do it that way. You have to honor, Top Gun Maverick did the same thing. Cobra Kai, you honor the original, you honor what you liked, and then you sprinkle in some new stuff. So,
I hear you.
So, yeah. So
that said they should reboot Police Academy.
Yes.
Dude,
and I'm forgetting his name, but the dude who does Carl, no, it's not Carl Winslow, something Winslow.
Winslow. God, what is that? He does the voices.
Yeah, I was gonna say not Carl Winslow because Carl Winslow is from Family Matters.
Family Matters, yeah.
But it's Winslow, something Winslow.
Winslow, yeah, Officer Winslow.
The dude who does the voices and everything. He was also in
Michael Winslow.
Michael Winslow.
Michael Winslow. Yeah.
He was in Spaceballs too. Remember, he was like,
Yep.
the radar, the thing goes.
Sir, grab to the radar, sir. Grab to the radar, sir. You don't need this. Grab to the radar, sir. What is it?
Okay, so we have no banana in the tailpipe opsis.
No banana in the tailpipe opsis.
But the film is currently shooting in California now.
I really am excited for this, man.
Yeah, and it's coming to Netflix. Speaking of movies going straight to Netflix,
right
now you would think it would go to Paramount Plus, since I'm assuming Paramount still owns the rights to it.
Right. A lot of these movie studios, because I know Warner Brothers does it a lot too. What they'll do is if they don't want to, like, if they don't feel like it's gonna do well, then they'll shop it out to other streaming services, especially Hulu and Netflix. Like look at what's happening with the Cape Crusader, right? The Cape Crusader cartoon. Warner Brothers canceled the whole thing, and now they're shopping it to different networks, right? So it's like, for some reason Warner Brothers doesn't think that that's gonna do well, even though that's gonna be gangbusters. Like, all of us that grew up with Batman know, as much as we love the animated series, if it's the same crew making it and they're doing a more edgy, more adult take on it, like it's one of those things where they let it grow up with the people who watched it growing up. It's gonna do well.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's gonna do really well, but for some reason Warner Brothers doesn't think it's gonna do well, so that's why they're shopping it out. It's the same thing. Like Paramount probably doesn't think that that this is gonna do well. Which again, the stupid thing is, like, the example that they have is Sony and Cobra Kai. But I'm it's whatever. Executives are the dumbest people in the world. So
And it could have been a long time ago too. Beverly Hills Cop 3 came out in 94. So we're looking at almost 20 years. So Paramount could have been like, hey, what's a streamer? We just want some money. Here, we'll license out Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Right.
Fine. And you got to remember back then, like Eddie Murphy wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
Right.
He's had the longest hiatus ever. So
the other thing could be that when Eddie Murphy probably pitched it to Paramount, he said, I want it to be on Netflix because he's been doing so much work with Netflix. He's probably like, you know what? We're doing so well at Netflix. I want to keep going.
So he has like a very good install base with Netflix. So Paramount's like, okay, well, we'll pitch it to Netflix. They'll take it. We'll still make money off the streaming.
Right.
They'll make money because it's on their service, And I'm sure if it's a big hit at some point, once it does its run through Netflix, it'll go back on Paramount. It'll go to Paramount Plus.
Right.
And then people are like, oh, I never heard there was a fourth one. Oh, it's really good. Is it on Netflix? Nope, it's on Paramount Plus. Oh, damn. Same thing with Cobra Kai. It was on YouTube Red at the time, YouTube Premium, which I actually paid for just for that. And then season 3 went straight to Netflix. So people who didn't know about it, like, oh, it's on Netflix. What? Oh, all right, okay, cool. Ready to get Netflix for that. So when you have an install basis there, so yeah, I see what Paramount's doing. I see what they're doing.
Right.
They're hedging their bets.
Now, what's Warner Brothers Discovery gonna do? Because I don't know if you guys remember, # release the Snyder Cut kind of took over.
Yeah.
Right. So this next story is kind of an interesting one. I want to see what happens with this. So again, # release the Snyder Cut happened. Everybody went crazy for it. And it's weird because like nobody expected anything to happen. And all of a sudden HBO Max is like, yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to release the Snyder Cut. Everybody's like, holy cow. Well, I can't believe you're going to do it. Zack Snyder came back and now he was just in the Teen Titans Go like cartoon.
Right.
Yeah.
Now that's all coming back. And now people are like, release the Snyder Cut again. So they want to continue the Snyder verse.
Right. Again, I'm not against that. You know what? When you actually see the movies that were intended by Zack Snyder, they're a lot better than what Warner Brothers put out. The whole thing was Warner Brothers, again, they're doing the whole, we don't think this is going to make money. So let's go ahead and change everything. Right. And let's give it to Joss Whedon because we don't think Zack Snyder's doing a good enough job. Right. But then you go back and look at what Zack Snyder's plan actually was, which is what we got in the Snyder Cut, so much better than the Justice League. Right. It's what we have affectionately called it, is the Justice League.
Now there's a whole story about Zack Snyder and his family and what Warner Brothers, and they wanted to push it because there was again, I don't know the full story, but we all know that he had family issues where he's going to postpone the movie. And then Warner Brothers like, no, we need to finish this up because we're trying to get our bonus and we can crank it out in November of that same year. So that's why they brought along Joss to trim it down and get it going. I don't know if that's the full story or not, but what we got, that under 2-hour cut was not. And this is nothing against Joss Whedon. I'm not saying that his directing is bad. I mean, no matter, I love Joss Whedon.
No,
I love this.
Joss Whedon is a good director. The thing is that he tried to do the Avengers treatment to Justice League, and Justice League is a completely, or just DC characters in general are a completely different breed of animal. So you can't treat them the same and expect like, I'm going to do this bright Marvel style when DC is a lot darker and grittier. Like it doesn't work out the same way.
Now, there's always you can always have polar opposites, like Flash can be the comic relief, or a younger Green Lantern and all that to mix up with Batman and Superman. Superman, I think it needs to be a bit more bright and colorful. Maybe if they bring back Henry Cavill, they'll make more of a brighter version of Superman that's not really directed by Zack Snyder to be a produced whatever, but more color to it. But it's still a dark story. The Snyder Cut was a perfect example of what you saw, the building blocks. You saw Darkseid. You saw kind of like, I don't want to compare it to Thanos or anything like that, the Avengers, but you saw what he was building toward just in that first movie. You saw that scene where they saw him in a portal, and Darkseid's like, what's up, G? Come on, bring it. And they're like, next time. Okay, so you saw who they're dealing with, and you saw the future with the evil Superman. Yeah,
and I mean, like his whole thing was he was leading towards injustice, and that's why now that you have kind of like a full picture of what injustice was going to be, like you have Superman taken over by the anti-life equation, like you see the direction he was going in, and it became compelling, and it's like I want to see this, right? This whole thing with like you get to see Jared Leto as the Joker in a way that he should have been in the first place.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Like that was a way better performance as the Joker than the one we got from that squad.
And,
right.
And I'm glad they stuck with that. Like, I remember there's a podcast I was listening to. I forgot the name of the podcast, but
Distance Nerding. It was Distance Nerding.
Yeah, it was. And it was a guy named Philippe that said, no. But there's a saying that if you can recycle garbage in anything, if you're writing something or something didn't work in part one or something didn't work in this one, if you can bring it back and it's better, that's great. So if you're like, you don't need to cut everything, and I kind of that leads to the bringing back the Snyderverse. I think that they don't need to bring back, if Warner Brothers and Discovery want to change something, I think they can just take the best elements of Zack Snyder, of the Snyderverse, and add that to what they're doing new. So if they do another Superman with Henry Cavill, God willing, they can bring that same story. But I'm not saying Zack Snyder has to direct it. He can give us feedback. He can be a producer or whatever, but they can add some new stuff. But you have your core, your Aquaman. Aquaman worked. Henry Cavill Superman works. Wonder Woman worked. Not so much Wonder Woman 84, but it still worked. They
just tried to do much in 84, and they tried to do such an obscure storyline. Like they should have stuck with a more recognizable storyline. Like they probably should have went with like Gargantua instead of going with like
right
the stuff that they went with in Wonder Woman 84.
Right.
Because like I said, I felt like they were just too ambitious with that movie, and it didn't work out the way they thought it was going to.
They should have kept it simple. I wish they would have did a sequel with man, I forgot her name in the first one, but she died. She was the one that was training Diana as a kid.
Yeah.
Robin, she's from House of Cards. Robin.
Right.
Yeah, her. Yeah, like if somehow she would have survived being killed, and then she saw her years later, decades later, or whatever, in modern day, and she still hated men.
Yeah,
and she had to fight Diana or something. Because Diana's like, no, men of the world is good. Not all are like that. Whatever. So they're like these opposing point of views. That would have been cool. So I know when they do Wonder Woman 3, it'll be in modern day. I know Wonder Woman's going to be in, I think The Flash. No, Shazam. She's supposed to be in Shazam. So I'm looking forward to that and see what they do with her. But yeah, but you have Shazam being a hit. You have, for better or for worse, Ben Affleck's Batman. People like it. Some people like it. Some people don't.
I like Batfleck.
I love him. Yeah, I love this dude.
He's a good Batman. I feel like he's as Batman. He has kind of like the pathos. He has like the minor comedy bits to him, but it's like his comedy bits aren't like, oh, he's outright funny and witty. It's like like the scene at the end of Batman v Superman, right? He goes, Superman goes, "Is she with you?" He goes, "I thought she was with you." Right?
I thought she was with you. Right.
That's the kind of comedy like you get from Batman that works, right?
Right. Exactly.
Time, like he's dark and brooding, and when he's Bruce Wayne, he's a philanthropist, but he is, he's a playboy that kind of just plays the game. At this point, he's more Dark Knight Returns Bruce Wayne, so he's kind of just fed up with just kind of falling in line, and now he's just out for vengeance is what his whole thing is.
Exactly.
I like that you see his real personality is when he is in the costume and he's Batman. So I mean, like I feel like Ben Affleck does a really good job as Batman. Again, when people said that he tuned out for Justice League, it was more the editing that they did for the Justice cut.
Right. The Justice League, yeah.
Right, because when you go and look at the Zack Snyder cut, when you look at the Snyder cut, his character was so much better and so much more well developed.
Right.
I think the tell will be how his acting is or how his character is in the new Aquaman movie that comes out next year. Is it next year? Year after?
Yeah. Well,
But-
they were all supposed to be like late this year. Everything got pushed back.
Right.
Even Black Adam got pushed back to October, and I think we're getting Shazam either Christmas or sometime next year. I want to say Christmas. And then after that, we'll see what happens with Flash and there's another movie, Aquaman 2. Yeah, Aquaman.
I'm excited for Black Adam. I don't want them to do what Sony just did with Morbius and try to make him like a reluctant good guy that is just happens to be, on the side of Batman. Like that.
Right.
That scene at the end of the movie, the post credit scene, made no sense to the character that was in the movie.
Morbius.
It was like, oh, we're gonna make Sinister Six, but why? He just spent an entire arc trying to be a good guy and ended with "I want to be a good guy," right? But all of a sudden, it's like, oh, we're gonna be bad guys now. Cool, let's do that. That movie was stupid. I mean, like,
I'd be like, I know. See, if I was Morbius, I'd be like, first question, who are you? Second question, who's Spider-Man?
Right.
Third thing, if you're from a different dimension, how'd you get the suit? Because that's an Avengers. That's from Avengers tech, and there's no Avengers in this world.
Right.
It's 3. Number 4, why do I want to team up with you? Yeah,
that movie was dumb. But I mean, like I'm hoping that with Black Adam, it's more if they go they're going the anti-hero route. If they go that route, I want them to be more of like, you see his plight and him trying to be almost like Dr. Doom, right? He's trying to be a good leader for Kahndaq, but the thing is that he does bad things to get his motives going, right? And I want to see that vengeance, like that revenge motive between him and Shazam, right? Where it's like
that's the thing, yeah. I mean, I think the story based on Shazam and the deleted, the extended, not the extended cut, but the end credit scene when they're sitting on the thrones and there's one throne that's empty.
Right.
There's like, who's that? So it was kind of ominous as to who he was. So everything already lends to him having a confrontation with Shazam. So whatever happens in Black Adam, he can't be too much on the right side of the angels. He's still to be at least chaotic neutral to some degree.
Right.
To have some conflict, because Shazam 3, which I'm sure they'll set that up in Shazam 2.
Right.
Black Adam won't show up until probably the end. Then Shazam 3 have to deal with it. You can't keep it apart. If anything, right now, the shared universe right now is Black Adam and Captain Shazam. That's a shared universe, right? Until we figure out what to do with Flash and Aquaman. Yeah.
Hey, let me do some quick cleanup. So just jumping back to what you guys were talking about earlier, Robin Wright in Wonder Woman, she played Antiope.
Antiope.
Excuse me.
Yes.
And then Shazam: Fury of the Gods comes out March 17th.
So they did push it. Okay.
Yeah.
2023. Well, I guess with Avatar coming out, they're kind of smart to do that. Yeah. I think delays are like, yeah, we don't want to get our butts totally kicked by Avatar 2.
We talked about this a couple weeks ago. That's exactly it. It wasn't really just the shared release date. It was the real estate for IMAX screens that was really pushing it over. So, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Enough of the DC universe. Let's go from one multiverse to another.
I was gonna say one last comment real quick, right? Just on the picture that's on here.
Yeah.
Anybody else notice that Zack Snyder has no tattoos when he's in the animated universe?
Yeah, what's up with that, man?
Yeah, that dude is covered in tattoos. That's why I'm like, he has no tattoos. No.
They either didn't want to show it or they were extremely lazy, didn't have time.
They just didn't want to
put the detail.
Draw his tattoos on him. All right, let's get to the next story here.
Okay, from Empire Magazine, we have a new photo to share from Marvel's Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, featuring Tenoch Huerta as Namor.
I'm so excited with this, especially with the news that they just brought into with that Empire article. So I'm gonna let you do this. I'm not gonna steal your thunder.
Stealing my thunder all the time. So anyway, it boils down to we got some new photos, right? And Coogler was quoted in it, and they talked through it, and like Huerta was actually really cool, where he was like Huerta also talked about his new incarnation of the character, which is inspired by the culture and history of Mesoamerica, saying you can take Atlantis from Greek myth, or you can adapt from a real culture. Rather than being the ruler of Atlantis, this new version of the character is the ruler of Talocan, which is pretty cool. to be like, let's just adapt it all and make Namor our own. We don't have to share mythos with, Greek mythology. It's just, this is us. This is ours. And then the big piece that came out of this was that they confirmed it. They mentioned it in the article that Namor is indeed a mutant.
Yes. Again, this is something that I'm excited about because they haven't really touched on mutants in the Marvel universe yet. They've kind of like slowly started mentioning it lately. But but I mean the fact that they're confirming that he is a mutant, right? And it's like, okay, good. I mean that means they're taking that leap.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. I mean, they have to start somewhere, and I think that's a smart thing to do.
Which means he's gonna have the winged feet.
Yeah, dude, I'm hoping because my fear when I first saw the trailer for Wakanda Forever, they showed him kind of like from the back, rising up from the water.
Mm-hmm.
Looking, I was like, that's not Namor. It's not my Namor, or whatever. So I was a little skeptical. This new picture that dropped, I'm feeling more comfortable about it. I'm hoping he keeps the attitude of Namor. Not so much humble, but like a right, like he has inalienable rights to the water.
Yeah, it seems like the way that it looks is he's going to be arrogant. He's going to be, just kind of like I am the ocean kind of thing, like the way that Namor is in the comics.
Right.
I mean, the two things I've noticed on this, obviously, the picture that we're seeing on the screen right now, he has the pointed ears like Namor.
Yeah, I was happy to see that. Yeah.
But then also I saw another picture of his costume, and there are wings on his boots.
Sweet.
So he does have the wings on the boots. They look like they were like decorative on the boots, but I mean they could be actual wings like he has in the comics.
Sweet.
Oh, that they also added that it's explained that the motivation of Namor in the story is drawn by the ramifications of T'Challa's decision in Black Panther to finally reveal that Wakanda, true Wakanda is to the world. So that decision puts Talokan in jeopardy. So it's like what Black Panther did had bigger ramifications. So maybe it's like
what he thought. Yeah.
The only thing now, though, is this kills my entire theory about introducing Dr. Doom, because if he's making the decision to attack Wakanda because of the reveal of Wakanda, then this is probably not going to be something that's orchestrated by Dr. Doom, unless they still have Dr. Doom in here and he like is whispering in Namor's ear and telling him, hey, none of this would have happened if Wakanda didn't reveal themselves and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know, like,
that would be cool, but to do that before Fantastic Four, though.
Well, but see, that's the idea, was you can introduce Dr. Doom so that you already have the character established so that he's a bigger threat in Fantastic Four.
That's not a bad idea. And plus it'll be a change of pace from the last two tries of doing a proper Dr. Doom.
Right.
So they're like, let's do a reverse, let's just, yeah.
Right, because if War of the Two Kingdoms, right, which is what this is based on. This is based on Black Panther War. That's basically the underlying story is Dr. Doom creates a war between Wakanda and Atlantis so that he can infiltrate the Necro City.
Gotcha.
The idea is that he's trying to harness the power of the Necropolis. And in order to do it, he has to distract Wakanda so that he can sneak in. And that's why he starts a war with Atlantis. So I mean, like, he can sit there and he can, like, get in Namor's ear and say, hey, if it wasn't for T'Challa and Wakanda, then you wouldn't have been revealed and all this other stuff. And he can start a war between the two of them. It can still happen, but just kind of the way that they're describing it, it sounds more like Namor. This is a decision Namor made to protect his people. Right. So it seems like
I like that
going in that route, but I like the idea of introducing Dr. Doom as an overarching villain.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing, is that also makes it so that Namor, his actions don't seem like he's a bad guy, right? Like it makes him seem like he's doing things for the right for the betterment and the right of his own people, and that makes him an anti-hero, right?
Right.
And which is what he is, right? He becomes an Avenger eventually. So I mean, that's the whole thing, is you can establish that early, and then in the end of the movie, in the third act, you can make Doctor Doom the overarching evil.
You know, that's actually makes sense because let's agree, we all know the Avengers need some bigger characters, bigger superheroes on their team right now. They need more meat on the bone.
Yeah.
You know, if they're gonna do an Avengers 4 or 5 or whatever.
Right. They were saying they're gonna do multiple villains, like multiple big bads. So it's not like just Thanos like it was last time. So that's what I was saying, is like, you know, you can establish Doctor Doom. We already have Kang the Conqueror. So Kang the Conqueror can be the universal threat, whereas Doctor Doom is the world threat, right? Gotcha. And he can be something that is kind of even a threat to the Thunderbolts, right? And that gives the Thunderbolts something to do, right? And then you have them doing their thing, their Suicide Squad thing, going after Doctor Doom, and at the same time you have them fighting, you know, the Avengers. I mean, there's so much you can write in way of having that character involved in things and orchestrating things and seeing how much of a threat he is. So then by the time you get to Fantastic Four, you know Doctor Doom is a credible threat.
Gotcha. Damn it, Philippe, man. I hope that doesn't happen, because now I'm gonna be forced to watch Thunderbolts. Damn it.
I was gonna watch it anyways because I like the way that they take characters that people don't care about and make them more relevant, you know?
And plus you get more Bucky. You get more Winter Soldier.
Can't complain about Winter Soldier.
That was a weird that's a weird decision, is to have Bucky on Thunderbolts, right? Because all the other people that they have coming in on the Thunderbolts, they make sense, right? Like you've got Ghost, you've got Yelena Belova, you've got
Red Guardian,
you have US Agent. Like those are all characters that make sense for the Thunderbolts, right? You know, if they would have done it early enough, you could have had Bullseye on there, because Bullseye is actually a member of the Thunderbolts, like things like that, right?
Can't do it yet. He hasn't been introduced in got to be reintroduced in Daredevil.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, is that it's too late at this point. They haven't introduced him enough to put him in that in that movie. But to put Bucky in there is like, you know, we've already made Bucky a good guy at this point, so it's kind of weird to see him go back. And I'm interested in seeing what the storytelling aspect of that's going to be.
Well, maybe he'll be. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I have a feeling it's gonna all come down to like redemption. Like if you look at all these characters, they've all been kind of bad guys, thinking they're doing things for the right reasons, or they're desperate, that sort of thing. It's gonna be them, like their redemption story. Like that's how what's her name, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, is gonna get them to like, hey, this is how you win back being a good guy.
Yeah.
Join Thunderbolts.
And the other thing with Thunderbolts, since they're bringing Taskmaster back, I need her to be less robotic because she is very robotic. I need her to be the quippy, you know, like shit talking Taskmaster that I love from the comic books. I don't care that they gender bended the character. Just make the attitude more like the one from the comics. Make it more like the character from the comics. Because you have the fighting down, but you don't have the character like the way that he is. Unless you do like a Taskmaster program and you do multiple Taskmasters. I mean, you know, you can make Masters a character like that, but you know, and then you can introduce Ken Masters later. But I mean, like, it would be better if if they're gonna continue with her being Taskmaster, to give her that now that like she's been a little deprogrammed, like her actual personality herself is like quippy and quick like that, because that makes her a much more compelling character.
Yeah. No,
can we get back to Wakanda? Can we get back to Black Panther?
It kind of ties in Doctor Doom and all that stuff.
You guys are deep. You guys are deep. What I really want to say, you guys can keep going, but what I really want to say, like I just counted it out, we are 6 weeks away from the Black Panther movie. Holy cow.
Is it that soon, dude? I'm excited.
I know. I just did it right now, and I'm like, oh my God, is it really only 6 weeks away?
Dude,
6 weeks away.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I can't.
Dude, this next week is going to go fast. Between October, it's coming what, November? Mid-November or
November 11th.
November 11th, yeah.
So it's pretty much going to own all of November up until Avatar. Avatar 2, because that's in December. And then it'll be like a number 1 and number 2, from that point.
Exactly.
And so I do like your idea, Philippe, about, Black Panther, T'Challa's decision, because it makes sense story-wise. Because I know after he passed away, they're like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? There's no T'Challa. So how do we, whatever. So at least him being the reason why he came up from the water, it ties together. So there's some continuity. It won't be a Last Jedi type of thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh, it makes sense. Okay, that's right. And now T'Challa's mom will feel the pain of what decisions he make. I lost my entire family. What did you want from us?
I've almost cried during that trailer like 3 times.
But like
Angela Bassett, man, she can bring a tear to my eye.
Oh yeah, man. Not to drag it on anymore, right? Because we do have to get into the next story. But like, the one thing that upsets me about this, and I hope they tell it in a way where it makes me less upset about it, is we're gonna get an off-screen kill of T'Challa, and that bothers me.
Yeah, I think that I have faith in Ryan Coogler, and Kevin Feige, and everybody.
I get the reasoning, but again, I've mentioned it multiple times. Every time we do a Black Panther story, is he wouldn't have wanted them not to recast the character. He knew the importance of the character. He knew that the character was bigger than him because it is a major character. He would have wanted he would have wanted them to recast that character. I'm telling you that right now, because of the type of actor that he is. Like he would have been like, find somebody that can take on the role. I've set a bar. Do not let it go below this bar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's one of the things that bothers me is instead of recasting him, they're going to kill him off screen, which I hate off screen kills. It bothers me really to my core for major characters. What I'm hoping that they do is, because there's so many more stories for Black Panther that, I mean, yeah, we can get into Shuri as Black Panther, but I mean, so many more stories for T'Challa. Since they're doing multiverse and they're leading to Secret Wars, that we get a alternate universe T'Challa, and that ends up being the recast of T'Challa, and it makes sense.
Well, they can do that. I mean, if the decision to pull the trigger on Shuri if that doesn't pan out, they can do that. They can always say, okay, multiple universe, boom. Okay, here is a true Black Panther. Voila, yeah.
And I love.
I'll take the mantle back. I'll take the mantle or whatever.
Yeah, I love Ta-Nehisi Coates' take on Shuri becoming Black Panther. She, she's arrogant and she has to earn it from Boston, and she doesn't get the powers of the Black Panther, but she basically Joe Montana's her way into being Black Panther, right? She shows her way and shows that she's worthy of the mantle of Black Panther, and Bast gives her the powers, but she has to do it on her own, and it's a growing experience as her as a character. Like I think that is a good arc. I felt like this was a little too early to do this, but it's this is where they're at and this is where they're going with it. I'm okay with it, but I still feel like if they don't recast T'Challa, we're never going to get that relationship between him and Storm.
Exactly.
Right.
I think you need to accept that. Like, you may not get it. And
I'm a little upset about that. No, I'm gonna be upset about that, because some of those stories are some of the best stories in the Black Panther mythos. So, I mean,
maybe we'll get a whole like, other universe, like an X-Men mutant universe where that can happen.
Or maybe I was gonna say maybe Shuri and Aurora get together and they still do the storylines, but it's a lesbian relationship.
There you go.
Here's a thought, real quick. Killmonger. He's supposed to be in the sequel. Michael B. Jordan's character was supposed to be in this movie.
Yeah, I thought about that too. Is if you do a multiverse story and Eric Killmonger comes back and he's Black Panther, that's also a way that you can do it.
Yes, I mean, that's what I would do.
Love that character. You know what I mean? Like, and he was. Killmonger's a badass, dude.
Yeah, it's probably one of the better Marvel villains.
He's definitely it's definitely a better version of Eric Killmonger than it was in the comics, because I like this version of Eric Killmonger better than I like the one from the comics.
Yeah, and Michael B. Jordan just oozes
charisma,
charisma and star power. So you have, like, I'm not saying he's replacing him. But it's like we have a muscular dude, charisma, taking over another muscular dude with charisma. That same energy. You have his redemption story because he was technically the Black Panther in the first movie before they fought. What better way to have a redemption?
Right.
I think they should have done that. I think they should have, maybe postponed another writer, but maybe Ryan Coogler, maybe he didn't want to do that. Maybe he was like, okay, or maybe they said, hey, Ryan, this is what we're doing. Sherry, make it work. It's like, okay. So
yeah, I mean, there's a way to do it without disrespecting Chadwick Boseman. You know what I mean? Like there are ways to do
Right.
it without disrespecting the memory of Chadwick Boseman.
Right. And I really think that Ryan will do that. Quick thought, a quick shout out. I actually met him once, but I didn't know it was him when I met him.
Chadwick?
Chadwick?
No. Ryan Coogler.
Oh wow! How'd you meet him?
Yeah, I met him. Well, I met him a few years ago. He's friends with my best friend's best friend, Chris Morocco. He lives in LA, and he's a film. He does film stuff. He does music videos and all that stuff. And he came over during Christmas time, over to his mom's house in San Paulo. And I went over there because I go there every year. And he was talking to him. I didn't know who he was. I thought he was just a friend of Chris. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Yeah. And they were talking about movies and Hollywood and being in LA and all that stuff. And then I leave because I had to leave early. And then my best friend left. And he goes, hey, man, you can always tell your friends you met Ryan Coogler. I'm like, yep. What do you mean? I was like, what are you talking about? Like, that was where I goes like, what? And I didn't have time to go back. Like, dude, I'm sorry. I'm going to get your autograph or whatever,
Oakland bred and raised, man.
Right. So I'm a fool. I should have known who he was,
You make time and you go back.
I know, right?
Hey, James. Oh, sorry, dude. James, Dean Coronado in the chat, man. Dean. He said, Top Gun Maverick is a badass movie with a wagon load of recalls. James knows how much of a fan I was of the original.
Yeah.
He said, we were singing either Glory of Love, James is all about Karate Kid 2, or Danger Zone in his parents' van conversations from LA to Santa Rosa.
Yeah, the conversion van, the Econoline conversion van. Yeah, we got Grown Up Geeky later. That's pretty much one of my Grown Up Geekies.
We're going to bring that up. We're going to talk about that.
Watching movies with my cousin Dean.
Dean.
All hours of the night. Yep. Okay, let's keep going because we got DC multiverse, now the MCU multiverse. How about another multiverse, kind of? So this is the big news. Ryan Reynolds is bringing his beloved live-action Deadpool to the MCU.
I'm already moving the mic away. Yes!
But he's not coming alone. He's not coming alone. He's brought backup.
Oh, I know.
Hugh Jackman hung up his Wolverine claws back in 2017. Said he was done, but in the little promo video that they did together, who's in the background? Like, hey, Hugh, you want to play Wolverine one more time?
Yes, sure. Ryan, why
not? I'm not doing anything.
Dude, the implications of what can be going on with this, especially because he already also kind of released a almost like a snippet of what the basic storyline is going to be. And the idea is that this is Deadpool traveling through the multiverse and finding his way into the MCU, and he's bringing Wolverine along with him.
Bro.
This is going to be a buddy cop movie. So here's the thing, right? There's always a theme to Deadpool movies, right? The first movie was a love story. The second movie was a family story, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a buddy cop movie. You know it's going to be a buddy cop movie because he's bringing along Wolverine. He's purposely doing a multiverse thing where he's pulling Wolverine out of the Fox universe, and then they're going on an adventure to make their way into the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
So which is not hard for Deadpool because there have been MCU references in every Deadpool movie.
Mm-hmm. Like the aircraft carrier.
Yeah, that Kevin Feige thought were funny. Like Kevin Feige was like, I am allowing this to happen because it's funny, right? And that's also why Kevin Feige said, no, Deadpool comes over as is. because it's already technically in the MCU with the way that Ryan Reynolds wrote the storylines.
Right.
Yeah, they just didn't mention it. So,
Mhm.
the script for the film is coming from Bob's Burger, Wendy Molyneux, and Lizzie Molyneux Loughlin, with Deadpool and Deadpool 2 writers Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick also working on the script. So it's a big collaboration.
This
That's
is
kinda
going to be
cool.
ridiculous, man, because you're going to have all the comedy of Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, which I thought they walked away. And when I saw that they came back, I was like, well, what happened to Wendy and Lizzie Molyneux? And they're still attached to it. So it's like, this is going to be stupid funny, man.
Dude,
All
it's
four.
gonna be stupid funny, and also hopefully Disney can keep their paws off this.
No, Disney.
Just keep it.
Feige already said it's rated R and it's coming over the way that it is. He said that it's he was saying the franchise works as it is, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, leave it the way it is. Feige has made a lot of comments about, a lot of people saying, oh, because it's Disney, it's you're gonna change it and all this other stuff. He's like, no, Ryan gets to do what the hell he wants with this because he's already got a working formula. I'm not gonna mess with that.
Gee, I wish the showrunners of Daredevil could have said the same thing, but that's a story for another day. But anyway,
yeah. So back to what you were saying, Ryan Reynolds said this was going to be like a road trip for Logan and Deadpool, but it's going to be Rashomon style. So Rashomon style is where the same event is recounted by several different characters, and the story differs based on the point of view and like how they reconcile it in their head.
They're literally going to do a multiverse. They're literally going to do, this is how it changes from each universe.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's pretty much like showing the same event happening, but just two different points of views, and how the story can be different based on those point of views.
Right. That's like God, what was that movie, man? There was a movie that I remember it got a whole bunch of awards. And it was like, there was multiple people, different things were happening, but in the end of the movie, everything like kind of like ties up together and they all end up in the same place. So
I mean, the one that came out at the same time Doctor Strange did, everything in between, everything.
Not that one. I didn't know that kind of story, but because I haven't seen it yet, I want to, but I haven't seen it yet. No, it's an older movie. Like it was like in the mid 2000s. And it was like,
who was in it?
I don't even remember. I remember it got a shit ton of awards though. I'll get back to you. I'm gonna Google it.
All right.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right.
But movies like Usual Suspects. That's kind of a Rashomon style where it's like different points of view. I'm trying to think of another. I think Reservoir Dogs technically could be that as well. And like Pulp Fiction, like different points of view.
Oh, okay.
If that makes any sense.
I like it. No, it makes sense. Yeah.
The other big news about Deadpool.
Forrest Whitaker was in it.
Forrest Whitaker?
Oh.
You need to keep looking that up.
I know. Forrest Whitaker was in it.
Are you Googling or trying to?
I'm IMDbing it. I'm
squeezing it out of your brain.
Yeah, I'm IMDbing Forrest Whitaker right now to see what movie it was. I remember him being in it.
So the other news that Ryan Reynolds dropped in this video, pretty funny video, but Deadpool 3 has a release date.
Yeah.
This is awesome. So September 6th, 2024, Deadpool 3. I'm kind of down for this. So where does this, I should have looked this up ahead of time, but like what phase is this? Is this phase 5 still?
It's in 2024.
2024, depending on what comes out in 2023, Secret Invasion. After Invasion, what comes out after Invasion?
I'm gonna look it up right now. You guys just I need to look at like release dates.
Yeah, we've got so much happening right now.
Dude, I'm excited for this. And I love that they just brought it back as like kind of a joke. Like, hey, Hugh Jackman just walking in the background, like, whatever. I'm in.
Right. It's like, yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah.
I'm down with that.
But
2023. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say, yeah, this is a match made in heaven. because I'm glad that, Feige said we're keeping Deadpool the way he is.
Mhm.
You couple that with the fact that the last time we saw, Wolverine was in Logan, which was rated R, which was a Logan we wanted from day one. So there's no way you can, deviate from that. So we're going to get a combination of both of that. I hope the violence is all over the place, no matter what they do. I mean, it's just going to be carnage. It's going to be carnage candy, dude. This is going to be the movie. This is going to be the dude bro movie that most dude bros are missing in their current Marvel stuff. So this would be kind of like, okay, this is the love letter to you guys. This is it. So
right.
This is going to bring Marvel back to form. I mean, oh yeah. And September, there's nothing coming out in September, so it's going to eat up anything in 2024 from September to December, I think.
That's a good point.
That's
a good point.
Unless they have, unless Disney has something else come out at that time, but I don't see anything coming out 2024.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with Aquaman or Flash when they're going to put those movies in. That's 2023, so maybe.
Let's see. Thunderbolts comes out July of 2024, so probably nothing in August. So that would mean it'd go Thunderbolts and then Deadpool 3.
Wow. Ooh. Two extremes.
Yeah, right.
It's the movie I'm thinking.
Deadpool.
No, I was thinking Crash, but that's not it.
No. Well, is that kind of like appeal?
Yeah, this may be. So we'll go Thunderbolts in, what was that, July? Nothing in August. September is Deadpool 3. And then November, 2 months later, Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's big.
That's a pretty good lineup. That's a pretty good lineup. No.
Well done.
Oh man. Now I have to make new edits to my costume. I don't know.
Some claws. Some claw marks.
I know, right? Well, I already make Wolverine jokes when we walk around cons anyway. So I mean,
exactly. Now you can't be like Mercenary for Hire because now they're buddies.
I can still do Mercenary for Hire. Are you kidding me?
Okay, all right.
I mean, it makes it funnier that I do the Logan jokes. I started doing these jokes now where when I walk around the cons, I go, "Has anybody seen Logan? It's about 4 foot nothing, really angry, knives for fingers, really bad job."
Sounds just like him. You got the voice down too. That's pretty good. That's impressive.
Yeah. All right,
you can see my new mask, man. It's in the garage right now, but ours I'd go put it on. But
have you found that movie yet?
I like I said, I thought it was Crash, but it's not.
Okay, I'm gonna keep going
because
from the MCU to a galaxy far, far away, after 40 years, James Earl Jones, who's 91 years old, by the way, is retiring from playing Darth Vader. Now that Vader's back, he's like, I'm gonna retire. I'm done.
I'm gonna cry when James Earl Jones passes, man. Really cry. That man has influenced so much in my in my childhood.
I know. So sad.
I had no idea it was 91. When they said 9, I was like, oh, at that point, I'm like, we're hitting that Betty White. You know what I mean? It's like we're getting close to that. But
that's right. He must have some health issues, and he's like prioritizing things because, he's kind of walking away. So Vanity Fair reports that the actor has signed over rights to his voice to Lucasfilm, so they can continue using his voice with that, AI technology that they used for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Mm-hmm.
And Matthew Wood of Lucasfilm said that the actor wished to keep Vader alive. It's kind of weird, but yeah. So that makes sense. Is that hey, keep telling Vader stories. Do whatever you have to do. Use Hayden. Use my voice.
Right.
But it's not going to be me anymore. Wow. Kind of sad, right? I wonder if he has health issues where he can't do a voiceover kind of thing.
Yeah.
It might just be that he just doesn't want to do it anymore. He's
Could
just
be.
I'm ready to just end my career. I just want to retire and chill.
Yeah. And that AI technology is he's like, damn it, what am I gonna do? Might as well retire.
Yeah, because he doesn't really do appearances that much, does he?
He's still playing Mufasa.
Oh,
Yeah.
is he?
Yeah, he's playing Mufasa in the new movie.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Hey guys, hold on. I have to charge my phone, so I might be without my mic for a while. If that's okay.
Okay.
But I'm at 15%, so I got to charge up my phone.
Plug it in. Come on, man.
Gotta have the sound plugged in.
All right. I'll keep going. So
Give me a second.
So who knows what's going to happen with Darth Vader? I think they're going to do more Darth Vader now that they have Hayden Christensen back and he's willing to play it, and the fans are happy he's back. He's happy to be back. I mean, he's done not a ton since the prequel series.
And Hayden also said that he wants to do more Vader. Like he said straight up before he even did it that he would like to do an entire series as Vader.
Exactly. Honestly, like they don't need him, but it's nice to have Hayden Christensen, to say that Hayden Christensen's in that suit, but like technically you don't need him. You have James Earl Jones consent to use his voice. We have the AI technology.
There are also a couple of different voiceover actors that can pull off James Earl Jones pretty well.
Yeah, we just kind of need you for flashback scenes, Hayden, but thanks, we'll appreciate you being on board. So what do you guys think? Do you think we're going to be getting more Vader in the future, like maybe a Vader series? I know that we have comics.
I mean, I think we will. I think it would make sense to continue doing Vader stories.
Yeah, totally. So sad about James Earl Jones, but it is what it is. Okay, Keep going. On to some gaming news, but not your gaming news. Some board gaming news. Are you a big board gamer?
I'm kind of both. I like board games. I haven't really played very many in recent years, but I mean, I do see them, and I've been more into card games recently.
Like poker?
No, like Cards Against Humanity, and I have remember when I pulled out the Angry Kittens game?
Okay, got it.
Right, stuff like that, like those kind of games.
Okay, so Ravensburger recently announced a new board game based on Disney Parks ride Space Mountain, and it's called Space Mountain All Systems Go.
Now, this is very exciting news because it's kind of like there really hasn't been much on the lore of Space Mountain.
Space Mountain, yeah.
There's been like a little bit in some of the video games that they've done and stuff like that, but like they really haven't gone deep into like the lore of Space Mountain. So it's gonna be kind of cool to see, like, not they're doing a board game. They're gonna have to write like a storyline around everything to make everything make sense.
I totally agree. I feel like this is like, Disney's been buying up Lucasfilm, Star Wars, and Marvel, and Fox and everything, and they're expanding their IP that way. Like they're missing a golden opportunity to like expand their own IP with like Space Mountain and Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, Haunted Mansion, whatever else is out there. The other one, Jungle Cruise,
Jungle Cruise, yeah.
I and not to jump back, but just because I was still looking for that movie, I found out where Rashomon comes from.
Which one?
What is it?
With the word Rashomon, I found out where that comes from.
Where does it come from?
There was a movie in the 1950s that Akira Kurosawa made, called Rashomon, and basically it's about there's a murder that happens, and there's four different contradictory stories by four different witnesses. So the Rashomon effect comes from a Kurosawa film. So Kurosawa is out here just influencing everything from Deadpool to Star Wars.
There you go. All right, Space Mountain All Systems Go. It's an intergalactic adventure game. Players become pilots who must travel through space, visiting all 5 starports. I didn't know there were 5 starports.
I know, right?
Is that what we do on the ride? I don't know. I don't even know.
I guess the point in the ride is to try and get to all 5 starports and say you've been to all 5 of them.
Is that really the ride? I have no idea.
I just made that up.
Oh, okay.
I've never been on it.
I've been on it.
Been on it? The hell's wrong with you, Fred?
Bro, I've been to Disneyland that many times in my life. And at the times I have, I've been on Star Tours. I did Michael Jackson's EO.
Oh yeah, no,
Wow.
it's been a while because Michael Jackson.
Now you're dating. Now you're dating yourself.
Show my age. But yeah, but Space Mountain haven't.
That's funny.
Which is why I'm kind of intrigued about this, this board game. So I'm going to have to check it out now.
You know what's funny? It's one of those dark rides. Like, you're outside, it's bright, you go in and it's like super dark. One of the like disclaimers is like, take your hats off or like be careful, hold on to your possessions. I wear glasses, so I take my glasses off because I'm like, I don't want to lose my glasses on a dark ride. I don't want to be that guy. So like I'm freaking blind the whole time trying to go through this dark ride. So all it's just like flashing lights and that's all I see. So like I never say anything to anybody else. They're like, do you enjoy the ride? I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on this ride. So like it was
you can't see shit on that ride anyway, so you're fine.
It was for real. Like I didn't like. Do we go to spaceports? I don't know. I've been on the ride a million times. I don't know.
What I've always wanted to do. I can't say always because it hasn't been around like forever. But I mean, like they do Hyperspace Mountain, and every time we've gone to Disneyland, the Hyperspace Mountain hasn't been going on.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do Hyperspace Mountain so bad because it's like a Star Wars like lens over Space Mountain, and they have
they do projections. So it's a battle of like you end up in a battle with like some Star Destroyers and TIE fighters and whatnot.
God, I want to do that so bad.
Oh, dude, it's so fun. I just did it. I just did it in June. You should have been there. Yeah, it's great.
All right. You convinced me. All right, I'll go. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Oh, you were recording the episode of the podcast? My bad. I was watching Hyperspace Mountain. My bad.
Oh, that's what you were doing when we said you were in the closet.
Yeah, right. Hey, that sounds weird. All right, I have a all systems go. Don't forget your lightning pass, Opsis pass.
All systems go. Hold on, let me reread that. Okay. All systems go. Don't forget your lightning lane Opsis pass.
In Space Mountain, all systems go. Players take on the role of pilots who adventure to the furthest reaches of space to complete their mission and win the game. Players must visit all 5 starports while zipping over wormholes, avoiding asteroids, and performing daring twists around flying comets, unknown planets, and more. The game is designed for 2 to 4 players and should only take 20 to 40 minutes.
Wait, you have to fly around unknown planets? You're like trying to avoid Planet X?
I guess so, right?
Like you're just flying and you're like, oh shit, planet, turn. Maneuvers, kid. You're just listing lazily to the left.
Yeah. I was like, what? That was a maneuver. Kind of. He's just listing lazy to the left. It's like, oh.
He's just listing lazy to the left. Man, this guy knows some maneuvers.
Yeah. Let's head to that clear moon. Let's head to that moon. It's clearly a moon and nothing else. Yeah. That's just
All right.
Oh man, Family Guy. It always comes back to Family Guy. Man, it always comes back to Family Guy.
Space Mountain, all systems go, will fly onto shelves on October. I forgot the date. Sometime in October for $29.99.
$30 isn't bad.
$30 for a board game? Sure, why not?
But I mean, $30 for a game that's going to give us more kind of like insight into Space Mountain. I'm kind of down for that.
All right. I'll see if I can fit it into my Call of Duty schedule, but okay, I'll give it a try.
It only takes 20 to 40 minutes, so like wait till there's like a big like download, like a big DLC or something, and then like, oh, let's play some Space Mountain.
There you go. Exactly. Just to kill time.
There you go.
Okay. So, board games in the future are going to have DLC, right? It's going to be like, oh yeah, you got a board game. Here goes some DLC. Press it on the board.
Expansion.
Downloads it. My board has Wi-Fi.
Is there any board game type games for consoles?
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of them, dude.
But any that are good, like anything that you're like, oh, this one's awesome.
Dude, there's literal D&D on consoles, man.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of dope. All right. Back to Multiverses, Morty.
Gotta get the multiverse, Morty. You gotta get this the multiverse, Morty. Oh, geez, Rick.
Oh, geez. I don't know, man. I don't know, Rick. Oh, geez.
I don't know, Rick. Just the multi. Well, what do you mean, Cthulhu?
Cthulhu,
There
yeah.
you go. So, Oni Lion Forge Publishing Group has collaborated with Warner Brothers. I didn't realize Rick and Morty was on Warner Brothers, but it makes
Yeah,
sense.
Warner Brothers owns everything, man.
I know, right?
They were in the new Space Jam movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And they're bringing us a new Rick and Morty comic miniseries, finally taking on Cthulhu. So it's going to be called Rick and Morty versus Cthulhu Part 1, The Whisperer in the Darkness.
Oh God. See, I mean, this is a big deal just because for years, a lot of people have you notice the opening to Rick and Morty, everything that you see in the opening of every season ends up happening at some point in the season, right?
Right.
And the one thread between all of them is at the very end of that opening sequence, they're running from Cthulhu, and that's the end.
And the ship. Yeah.
So like the whole thing is like, okay, so why is it that we haven't seen them fight Cthulhu yet, right? And I know that there's a big joke with Justin Roiland about like the point of that is because people think it's going to happen at some point. He's like, and maybe I will write a story where it actually happens, but you know, like it's one of those things where people are going to fight like tooth and nail to see this story, and it may or may not happen. It's very Justin Roiland thing to say, but I mean, like,
right,
you know,
exactly.
the fact that they're doing a comic book on it, and I don't know if Justin Roiland's involved in this, but I mean, like, yeah, it's gonna be great to see if it is something that is like a thrown away story that they did.
Like they're
something that important. I would think they would bring somebody on the creative team to do it.
Yeah,
somebody. I mean, yeah, a consultant, or it's just gonna be just one of the regular, you know, artists or writers.
I was reading something that I guess they introduced in those scenes. Maybe it was the end credit scene, but there's a baby Cthulhu as well.
Right. And that's what it is in that last little scene in the opening credit is Morty's holding a baby Cthulhu while they're in his ship and they're flying away, and a big Cthulhu is like chasing them.
Perfect. So I have why is there a baby Cthulhuopsis?
Why is there a baby Cthulhuopsis? We do this why is there a baby Cthulhuopsis?
No. What could be worse than an off-planet sugar deal gone wrong, tripping through a Lovecraftian hellscape with the Smith family as they fight cosmic sentient color and racist fish people? That can't be right. Welcome to the Rick Sanchez School of Actually Getting Shit Done. And the poor bastard Jerry declares everything smells like cinnamon and sorrow in this Lovecraftian epic.
This sounds like a Justin Roiland story.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I'm telling you.
Well, let me look it up.
Cosmic sentient color and racist fish people. Right? So you have the weirdness of like, you know, racism exists everywhere. Like it's like, oh yeah, it's not just going to be us. It exists everywhere, which is like a very much a Justin Roiland concept, right? Is like aliens are going to be racist against themselves.
Hey, that's how we work.
But that's the thing, is that the whole joke is that, you know, a lot of people are like a lot of people who are very idealistic are like, you know, aliens in their advanced civilizations, they won't be racist because, you know, they've gotten over stuff like that. And it's like, no, Justin Roiland is very much like, no, these societies are going to be just as racist as we are.
Exactly.
Themselves, you know.
That's funny.
That's somewhat comforting, but not really. But yeah,
right.
It's like, oh, okay, we're not that bad then. All right, cool.
So I know you're big Rick and Morty fans. I know you're big Rick and Morty fans, and I know you're also comic book fans. Are you going to be picking up a Rick and Morty comic book?
I think I will.
For that, yes. I the last time I picked the one up was actually 2 years ago. It was free comic book day, actually. And that's the only reason why I picked it up, because it was just there. I didn't know there was a Rick and Morty comic book at the time. And I read it and I enjoyed it. I didn't put it part of my saver, but I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it for what it was, and it was free. But for this one with the Cthulhu, yeah, it just, oh, dude, I hope there's a writing team from the show doing this book. I hope. I mean, I'm going to buy it anyway, but it will be extra special, sauce, you know, extra spicy, you know.
All right, Rick and Morty versus Cthulhu Part 1, The Whisperer in the Darkness, will be available December 7th. Not that
That's
far
not
away.
too far away. Yeah.
Couple months.
So much good stuff's coming out, man, this year. This is good, man.
I know, and there's a lot of good stuff we got to stream too. Let's get to that. But before we do, last story, we should have saved this for Grown Up Geeky, but McDonald's is going old school. McDonald's is bringing back Halloween Happy Meal buckets. I'm so down for this. So as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, that was the bucket. So McDonald's Halloween Happy Meal buckets, originally introduced 1986, consisting of jack-o'-lanterns, McPumpkin, McBoo, and McGoblin, are coming back. I'm so down with this. Just like a Mexican pizza can come back, bring back holiday buckets, Happy Meal buckets. I'm down.
Right. I like the way they look. They look very Halloween 3 Seasons of the Witch right now.
Yeah.
With those buckets. So it's extra spooky to me. So I'm down for it.
I mean,
I'm excited for this kind of stuff because it brings back something that I remember as a kid, like that. Just seeing.
You mean nostalgia?
That's what I'm getting at.
That's a good idea. Hollywood should do more of that. Huh.
I know I'm gonna buy these for my kids, but I think I'm gonna be keeping some.
You're secretly buying it for yourself.
I know, totally.
Yep. You're gonna Beanie Baby this, aren't you?
Totally. That's what happened when they were doing the Thor Love and Thunder figures and stuff. I'm like, oh, who wants a Happy Meal today? Everybody's like, me. I'm like, of course.
Dude, back in the 90s with Beanie Babies, I used to go to the DVC, and there was a McDonald's over there by the college, and there was these three moms buying 20 bags of Happy Meals. And they were taking the Beanie Babies, and they're like, hey, do you want the food? And I was like, if I wasn't late for class, I'd take it, and I had already ate too. So it was like, wow, okay. It's just weird to me, but they were into it. They were into collecting. So I can see this being a big hit.
Yeah.
I can see people getting this for their kids to trick or treat with,
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
Do they glow? Does the green one glow in the dark? Was that ever?
Off the top of my head, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't think it did. I don't think it did.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember.
I have this nagging suspicion that it might. Well, I don't know. But that's still cool.
Put a candle in that thing. It'll glow. That's fine.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
But they're so small, though. You can't fit a lot of candy in that. You can't take that trick-or-treating. You need that big pillowcase. You know what I mean?
The big pillowcase.
You can't take this Happy Meal size bucket. You need at least a Home Depot size bucket,
Okay, man. Wow.
All right. Halloween Happy Meal buckets will be back starting October 18th and will be available for a limited time through October 31st.
All right. Hurry up this Halloween. Hurry up this Halloween. Silver shamrock.
You know what I'm surprised that they haven't brought back yet is the Hamburglar as what was he? I remember the Nugget dude was a vampire. No, the Nugget dude was a mummy, and the Hamburger was a vampire.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised that they haven't brought back all of Ronald McDonald's friends as treating characters like they used to do. Because I remember there was a CD they put out with all that. Dude, I remember this shit as a kid.
There's a video on YouTube that I saw about the history of Ronald McDonald and friends, and the French fry guys and the nugget packs of McNuggets babies and a little thing. There's a whole story about why they left and why they brought him back and things like that. And Mayor McCheese and all that.
Mayor McCheese. I was sitting here looking. I'm like, what is that dude's name? Mayor McCheese.
Mayor McCheese.
It's like the mayor of what? Mayor McCheese. I'm like,
mayor of the playground.
Mayor of the burgers. He's the mayor of all burgers.
You guys keep some weird knowledge in your brains.
It's like Mayor McCheese. Oh, you're the mayor of burgers? Let me introduce you to the Burger King.
Oh,
maybe that's why they don't bring him. Who needs a mayor when we got a king?
Yeah, the mayor,
right?
The king.
I'm sure Burger King was like, "Hey, you can't do that anymore. We got Burger King. You got to kill that."
Burger King did him dirty.
Take it to court.
All right, let's get to some rumors, huh? Rumors.
It is time. Let's do this, guys. guys, there's a theme song for this. Let's do this. How did you do? Oh, stars and rumors. Oh, stars and rumors. With you. I want to start some rumors with you.
All right. Can't be rumors without some MCU rumors. So the first one is we're getting Daredevil Born Again, right? So Charlie Cox is coming back. Vincent D'Onofrio is coming back. I guess the original plan was to have Kristen Ritter's Jessica Jones come back in the Daredevil series. But I guess she's got some like scheduling conflicts.
Okay.
So the new rumor is that John Barenthal's Frank Castle, aka the Punisher, will be showing up in Daredevil Born Again.
That all makes sense because those are the three characters Feige said he wants to bring back.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't care as much about Iron Fist and
Luke Cage.
I personally liked Luke Cage. I thought it was a great storyline. I think Iron Fist, the majority of the issue with Iron Fist was that the martial arts was trash. But I mean, like, you can't be the master of martial arts and not be able to fight. But I mean, like, like you have that going on right there. The best part of Iron Fist was literally the Sisters of the Dragon. But barring all that right there, is Kristen Ritter's Jessica Jones and Purple Man were like chillingly perfect, right? And then of course John Barenthal. I don't think anybody plays the Punisher as well as John Barenthal played Frank Castle.
Yeah,
those are available on Disney Plus now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All five of this series from Netflix on Disney Plus.
I think you have to go through your settings on Disney Plus if you haven't already, and put your age so it's set to unlock all the content.
Right, because you can put rated R content if you put the age limit on it.
Right, which is funny because before you didn't really have to, because it's like, oh, everything's all PG, whatever, if you're 13, so voila. But now yeah, it's all on there.
Yeah, now you can watch Deadpool. Now you can watch Logan. Now you can watch the Netflix series. All that stuff is on there. The fact that they're doing that, basically they're going to start putting Miramax stuff on Disney Plus because it makes sense.
Yeah. So if this rumor does to become proof positive, it leads to a bigger question as to how dark is this show going to be? I mean, obviously there's rumors about Daredevil, Born Again. That's going to be kind of a lighter tone. I don't know if that's just because of She-Hulk and they're going to just do it just for She-Hulk that one episode. And then in Born Again, they're going to go back to TV MA or even TV. I'd be okay with the TV 14, truth be told. But now if John Barenthal does come back as Punisher, I mean, you can't water down two characters, whether he's a guest star or not. So
I don't think that they are. Like, the thing is that I think that you can make it ambiguous enough where you have these appearances by Daredevil in Spider-Man. You have the appearance of Daredevil and She-Hulk and everything like that. That doesn't necessarily, because those are PG-13 series or PG-13 movies, PG, all that kind of stuff, because it's, enough for kids to watch, doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to go to a dark storyline for Matt Murdock himself. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that can easily be, I mean, they do that all the time. Like, they put Blade at the end of the Eternals, which had the first sex scene in the MCU. They had that going on there, but Blade is a dark property, and they're going to go dark with it.
Gotta hope so.
Yeah,
there was a pseudo sex scene in Andor, Star Wars Andor, and that's still on normal Disney whatever. Like
Andor was way darker than I thought it was going to be, man. Like, I was not expecting Andor to be that dark.
I still need to binge that. Actually, I know I'm like 3 episodes behind. First 2 was launch the first day.
Yeah, and I like their approach to Andor, where it just came out like yesterday. They said that Andor, the way they treated it was as if it wasn't a Star Wars property, and added those elements to it, and it was like
we'll get to Andor. We'll get to Andor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeez.
You're jumping the gun. You're bearing the lead. Huh?
Exactly, man. I shouldn't have said it. So, tacos on the table. Your Halloween Happy Meals on the table. Is Punisher going to be in Daredevil Born Again?
My tacos are on the table, 100% on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would say yes. If you're not going to bring Bullseye back, for at least for Born Again, you have to. I don't know if Punisher going to be, the antagonist again, or you're going to bring in Kingpin, because Daredevil Born Again is actually based off a comic book of Daredevil, I think 227,
right,
involving the Kingpin. I think it ran from 227 to 232, which those books actually went up in price when they announced Born Again. Daredevil Born Again.
That's not the one Kevin Smith wrote, is it?
No. This came out a long time ago. Like it's one of the it's like 227. It's an earlier one. Like Karen is like a recovering drug addict or something like that.
Where Karen Page was she was a dope addict.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it delves into that. So yeah, but it's a straight up Kingpin story. So I don't know if it's gonna be loosely based off that, because I think season 3 kind of delved a little bit into the Kingpin storyline, and it had Karen's backstory in that one. So when they mean Born Again, I hope they don't mean like, oh, it's Born Again in a way that it wasn't in the Netflix series. So it's Born Again, but in the Marvel universe. So I don't know what the subtitle is in reference to.
Right.
But I hope we do get a story. But if you're not going to do Kingpin, if you're not going to sneak peek Bullseye, got to bring in a Punisher. I don't know who the main antagonist will be, but if you have to bring in a Punisher, then it's going to be a badass villain. So yeah, my tacos on the table. My burrito tacos on the table.
Yeah, no, I know, right? No, I was saying, I was just looking it up. I was like, who wrote Born Again? It's the Frank Miller run.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's.
I got him back then.
I mean, talking about like it being dark, right? Like if it's the Frank Miller run, it's gonna be dark,
right? But that's why I hope that title wasn't just to bait us in,
right?
I'm not trying to be anti-Disney. I'm just saying.
I don't see Feige doing that, because the thing is that Feige, when he comes through, man, and it's like he's been saying that he liked the way Daredevil was and he wanted to bring that over the way it was. But I mean, like, if this multiverse thing, and it's just like, this is a chance for me to retell this story within our universe, right? Then it's like, okay, I like that idea too, right? Where they're just like basically they're retelling the story of Daredevil, but within this universe, and that one being a multiverse, or the one on Netflix is a multiverse variant of this what we have. But I mean, like, now
they did say that this Born Again series is not a continuation,
right,
of the Netflix series,
because the Born Again series, this is the one in the books, this is the one where Daredevil, like, he kind of rekindles his relationship with this is like right after he fights the Hand and everything,
right?
Yeah. So I mean, like, because I know what series this is, so it's like, it's almost like he kind of becomes a little more religious in the books. They don't.
It's Catholic. Why not?
But it also made him way more violent. I mean, that's Frank Miller. But I mean, like, that's it made Daredevil like a whole hell of a lot more violent, because he became like more passionate.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I again, tacos on the table. I think he's gonna come back. I think that we're gonna get Daredevil. It's gonna be dark. John Barenthal is gonna come in. We're gonna get that version of the Punisher that he's supposed to be, like how he was in the show. If they scale it back, it's mainly because they can, like, open it up to a larger audience, but I think he's still going to have the same intensity and the same kind of violent nature, especially considering like the stuff that Disney's been kind of pushing the bar with.
Right.
You think about like going back as far as Winter Soldier, like, like there's a scene at the very beginning of Winter Soldier where Captain America pins a dude to the side of a wall with a knife. They just don't show the blood,
Right.
But it's like, stuff like that. It happens in there. So I don't see them not having Punisher and Daredevil be the violent dudes that they are.
Okay, good. Yeah. I mean, that's my concern. I mean, I'm not saying that you can't do that in PG-13. I mean, we've seen movies like The Dark Knight. Yeah. Fantastic movie. It doesn't have that much blood, but it's a very dark, violent movie. The tone. So if the tone is on par, at least on par with the Netflix show from a tone perspective, I'm okay. It doesn't have to be a huge bloody body count and lots of blood. I mean, it was all about the emotions, the music, the lighting, the setting. Matt Murdock and his Catholic belief and his guilt. stuff like that. That meant so much. The dialogue with Fisk and the Punisher, and when they were in prison.
Yeah.
There's an episode about when Fisk going to jail and he first meets Castle. Just that alone is fantastic.
Dude, the episode
just the dialogue.
Castle and then Frank beating the crap out of everybody in that corridor. Oh,
yeah. Oh
dude.
my God, dude.
That's the scene that made that show.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
and he's all in his white and he's all bloodied up when he's done.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, I see who won.
Hallway scene in season 1. The hallway scene in season 1, the one continuous shot of Daredevil beating the crap out of everybody down the hallway.
Dude, amazing.
One that everybody was like, okay, this makes this entire show.
Right. Exactly. Because it's something you've never seen before.
Right.
It's just amazing.
I was gonna say the MCU does a good job of like making things a little gritty, but they don't necessarily show everything. Like, remember in Falcon and the Winter Soldier when U.S. Agent had that one dude pinned down like right outside after like a chase scene, right at the fountain, and he
kills him with the shield.
He kills him with the shield.
Yeah,
you know, but they didn't show it, but it's like it's implied, and you're like, dude, this just got dark.
That's why I'm saying,
like not showing it is almost more suggestive, because your mind is like, oh, dude, his head's probably like decapitated.
Yeah, exactly.
Blood all over the street.
The amount of
witnesses,
of that we get from some Disney properties, especially on Disney Plus, I don't see them holding back on this. You know what I mean? Like, it may not be necessarily rated R, but it might be almost more suggestively violent because you don't see anything.
Right. Again, if I can get a TV 14, I'm okay with that, man. I just don't want to lose, who they are.
Yeah, I want a proper Jigsaw, because not that I didn't like that version of Jigsaw, but I like the one from Warzone better. So I mean, like, I want to see a proper Jigsaw done in this show.
Right.
And same thing, like, I want to see a proper Bullseye, because they haven't gotten Bullseye right yet.
Yeah, I mean, what I liked about Bullseye, at least in season 3 of Daredevil, was that his character, although he wore the Daredevil suit, I want to see that version of Bullseye, but in the Bullseye suit in blue with the white arrow, from the forehead. I want to see that, because, him in a Daredevil suit was cool. It was kind of like, Murdoch looking himself in the mirror, like, that's how the people view me, like I'm a criminal, whatever. Right. That was cool. I just want to see that in an actual proper Bullseye suit, and not the Ben Affleck Daredevil Bullseye.
Yeah,
not the Colin Farrell Bullseye. No.
Oh yeah, no. And then I want to see, of course, I want to see Elektra. I want to see Elektra. I thought Elektra was great in the Netflix show.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But that last season when they introduced Typhoid Mary, dude,
that was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see a good another. I want Typhoid Mary to be as good as the way they did her in that show. Typhoid Mary is a badass character, dude.
I remember a long time ago they were trying to do a. God, I'm trying to think. God, I forgot what Marvel movie it was. It wasn't Daredevil, but they were trying to tap Katie Sackhoff to play Typhoid Mary. And I forgot what superhero movie it was.
I don't know.
It never came to pass. It never came to pass. But
it wasn't Daredevil. Did they actually make that movie though?
No, it was way after Ben Affleck's Daredevil.
Was it in
at the time they weren't even thinking about doing a Daredevil 2?
It was the just as equally bad Elektra movie.
No, it was well after that. I got to find out. But yeah, I remember she was picking up some comic books to read, kind of, to get, about to get to know
who
the
was
character.
Elektra? Was that like Aaron? Who was that?
No, what's her name? Jennifer Garner.
Jennifer Garner. She played her in those in the Daredevil movie, but
That's
then
right.
But in the series, I don't know her name.
She's like, because I mean, it's cool to see somebody who at least put the accent on, because Elektra.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, Elektra is Greek, so it's like, when she's, I think the actress was actually I think she was either Brazilian or she was Latin. She was Latin descent, but she put on the Greek accent though, and it was like, okay, so she's Greek. That's where it should be.
Elodie Young.
Huh?
Does that sound right? Elodie Young.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. You got it.
There we go. Sorry, looking it up.
No worries.
Wow, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner. They did not. I'm surprised he came back for superhero movies.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's funny. Okay. Next rumor, last rumor. So we got 6-episode series for Miss Marvel. We know we're going to see her again in the Marvels movie, but directors Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah posted a behind the scenes of the filming of the Miss Marvel show, and then they added, just reminiscing about our time in the MCU, who's ready for season 2? And everybody's like, wait a second, did they just pseudo announce that there's going to be a season 2 of Miss Marvel?
And I mean, we kind of knew it was coming, man. Like we're just waiting for them to announce it at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, we're in weird territories with the not Netflix, but Disney Plus series. Like, they've only announced Loki season 2, right? And they announced that like from the get. But like, are there going to be follow-ups up to the all these Netflix series? Like, there's like 8 different series now, right?
Yeah. I mean, a lot's going to depend on the success of Miss Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, because the finale, you know, went with Captain Marvel popping up for that brief second, and then what the guy hinting at Miss, you know, of her being a mutant, Miss Marvel being a mutant, you know, whatever. And you heard the little da-da-da-da-da in the background, you know, that was like great. So if the Marvel is a hit, then yeah, people will jump back to season 2. So it all depends on how receptive they are to that. If it's not a big hit, I mean, I know that later on in episodes, Miss Marvel wasn't being viewed as much. They were losing a lot of viewers, and that tends to happen, especially with Disney Plus shows. You start off great for episode 1 and 2, then you see what it's going to be. You wait around for the cameos, but then the end, it's like, you know, what are you watching it for? You know, who's its audience for? You know, is it for people who just want to watch cameos? It's like going to Marvel movies. You wait for the end credit to see how this is going to connect the dots to phase 3 or phase 4 or phase 5.
Right.
You know, so if you're watching just for that, you might be turned off like, oh, okay, well, Miss Marvel's okay. So it depends. If the Marvels turn out to be a hit, then yeah, I can see them doing a season 2. I'm sure they have the treatment ready for season 2. It's just a matter of, you know, if Disney are going to greenlight it. You know, if all these Netflix shows like Loki and all that, it's like they might be like, let's hold off because, you know, or maybe Disney Plus is to the point where like they're going to be like Netflix, so like we'll do it all. Who cares?
Right. As long as we get subscribers.
I think
exactly. You're $10.
I think it's funny how, you know, Marvel didn't have the rights to mutants, so they started changing a lot of characters into Inhumans.
Mm-hmm.
And then
exactly,
Inhumans, you know, like turned out to be terrible, and they kind of like, you know, erased Inhumans from the MCU. And now that they have the rights to mutants, they turned a character who was an Inhuman in the comics into a mutant, and it's like it's actually.
I'm okay with that. I'm more of a mutant guy than an Inhuman guy.
Well, I mean, because the idea is that mutants are born with an X gene, and Inhumans are given powers with Terrigen Mist. So I mean, like, you know, it's just they're given different types of powers. They're different types of characters. It's the idea of being born with something and it being something you can't control versus being something that just is given to you all of a sudden. And
yeah, some kind of outside agent happens.
And I guess you can also kind of make that argument for mutates within the Marvel universe. Deadpool and Mr. Sinister and I guess technically Juggernaut, because Juggernaut's not really a mutant. He has a gem that gives him superpowers, but like yeah, like, you know, like you have those characters that are, you know, how do you determine a mutate versus an Inhuman and things like that? It does get a little bit kind of muddy within the comic book universe. Kind of funny that they made her a mutant, you know, and it's like, I'm not against it. I think it's a nice little twist onto the character.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm totally cool. Tacos on the table. Do you think we'll get a season 2 of Miss Marvel right now?
My tacos are on the table. I do believe we're gonna get a season 2 of Miss Marvel. I think it was too good of a show for them just to let it just go. I don't see the Marvels being something that doesn't take off.
You're on the fence.
I do. I don't want to be. I'm not trying to be Switzerland. I'm not trying to be the French. I don't think it's going to happen right now.
Oh, I think soon. If they do a season 2, it's not going to be until like Phase 5.
Right. I mean,
Marvels.
Having said that, I will say eventually we will see, a season 2. I just don't see them like doing any shooting right now. It's going to be, I don't know. It depends. I mean, a lot can happen between now and 2024.
Yeah,
right?
that's
so,
good point. Good point.
Not saying that people won't see it. Again, it all depends on what with the Marvels. The Marvels, if they bring in more characters to to complement her, then yes. It was a good jumping off point. What you do in season 2, is going to be different. If it's more of the same of season 1, then it can turn out to be like you know. But again, people are investing to see what's gonna happen next. So I mean, let's look at Mandalorian season 2. You saw that finale coming, right? I mean,
I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see Kamala come back, but I want to see because she becomes an Avenger, right? So I want to see her interacting with Bruce because in the comics, Kamala and Bruce's relationship is hilarious.
Right. Yeah, it is.
And I want to see more of that. Like I want to see that come to fruition. We see that relationship that she has with Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And cool. I think you're right. I think they're holding off until after after the Marvels movie to talk about any kind of season 2. Plus, Iman Vellani, she's young. She could be beating up people in Hawaii. Who knows? In like a month. And then they got to reconsider.
Like the Flash, you'll be the new Flash.
then they got to reconsider what they're going to do with Ms. Marvel,
Mark Ruffalo, we need you again. God dang, I'm teaming up with another one. Okay, fine. I'll be there. Right. I'll be there.
He'll be the guy. Anyway, that's it for rumors. We're done. Let's get on to what do you want to do? What you watching? It's getting late. What you watching or Grown Up Geeky?
Let's do. You want to do Grown Up Geeky? I kind of want to do some Grown Up. Well, no, let's do what you're watching because that is something that we kind of like teased a lot of.
Well, let's do the Grown Up Geeky real quick since we have Fred. We got a special guest. We might as well milk the opportunity and go from there. So let's get into some Grown Up Geeky. So, what did you nerd on out as a kid on? That was a weird sentence that I screwed up. What we talked about Transformers and Star Wars before. Fred, what did you geek out on when you were growing up?
Like what, and more specifically, like what's the thing that your earliest memory? What's the thing that made you remember made you a geek? Like what's the thing that set you on the path and you were like, what? From now on, I love this geeky stuff.
You know what? I would say it was off the top of my head. It would be like, Spider-Man or cartoons or what have you, Marvel or the first Superman movie. But I got to go with anime. And for some reason, 70s anime made the best 80s cartoons for me. I grew up in the 80s. I was a teenager in the 80s. And dude, my shows honestly was like Star Blazers.
Oh, nice.
Tranzor Z, Robotech, Voltron.
The original guy.
Exactly. And dude, I'm gonna tell you, the bus ride home between a school and that 8-block run I did between 10th Street and 2nd Street to get to the house, to run upstairs and not do my homework and turn on TV 36 to watch Star Blazers. That's in my head. That's what made me a geek. I'm running, dude. I'm I'm like, the door, remember you're in you caught the bus in the high school and you say back door, and then the door opens up, the green light hits, you open it up. I just booking 8 blocks from 10th Street to 2nd Street. Get to the house. My grandma's like, hey, Frederick, hey, grandma, whatever. Run upstairs.
Don't talk to me, grandma.
Yeah. So, sometimes I
watch.
Sometimes I make the opening credits to Star Blazers. Sometimes I don't.
Star Blazers.
Cry for help for desperate right. Makes our Starfers reunite. As fierce and meet our fate, the common in party ways. I mean, just that alone was like, But it was probably my introduction to space opera really before I got into Star Wars. It was just amazing. It's episodic. They had to get to one planet and then turn around and come back and face all these things and, all these villains, the Gamelon Force. That was my jam, dude. Voltron, Even that, just like those pilot episodes where there were always a 5-part miniseries.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna get the line, okay, we're gonna get this line, and then we get that line, and this line, and then part 5. Okay, now we form Voltron.
Yeah.
Those are my memories, dude. I mean, yes, Spider-Man, Amazing Friends in the '80s, Saturday morning cartoons, the Smurfs. I get it. That was my Saturday thing, but it was the weekday stuff. It was the Monday through Friday. Before there was Ninja Turtles and Robotech, the weekday. Those were it, because those were affiliate shows that aired years ago in Japan in the '70s. That made their way over. So they were it's a very niche, niche type audience.
Yeah.
But I was there. I was there, man. I think I watched it in my mom's room. My grandmother watched the news downstairs. So
I was saying, what's funny is the amount of people that whenever I bring up the show, people like look at me like, I don't know what that one is. Ronin Warriors, man.
Dude.
Yeah. Ronin Warriors is the shit, dude. That show was so dope.
Dude, Ronin Warriors was man. See, they don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it has adult
like samurai, and then they turn into mechs, and it's like, this is so dope.
This is great. Exactly. It wasn't as watered down. It wasn't watered down because they were, Japanese, cartoons, and they were more adult. Their rating systems were different than it is in Japan and then what was North America. You had to change some stuff around, to make it, and of course dub it. So I was a big fan of of Star Blazer and all that stuff and their dub characters. So when I'm watching the new Star Blazers 2199, and I'm like, who the hell is Cody? I'm like, that's Derek Wildstar. I'm like, no, his name is, it's Cody. Like, no, it's Derek Wildstar, bro. He's like, I grew up with that. So, but the animation's so much better in this one. So I'm willing to, make concessions.
What's funny?
Warriors was just basically a bunch of dudes, like multicolored Yoshimitsus is basically what it was.
I've never heard of Ronin Warriors till this minute.
Really?
I've mentioned it on the show more than once, and every time I say it, you're like, I don't know that one.
I don't know it, but I'm with Fred on everything he said. I'm totally down with everything. Star Blazers, Voltron, not the second Voltron. We don't talk about the vehicles one. But yeah, all that
Lions.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet what's funny? If I watched it now, the second Voltron, I might appreciate it more. But the fact that we were so bummed of what it wasn't, we didn't appreciate what it is. There was a part where they teamed up, which I actually did not see. I hear it's on YouTube. Maybe I'll watch that. Maybe I'll be watching that.
Yeah.
It's worth watching. When they did team up, but I couldn't get into the vehicles at the time, which is funny because now there's Power Rangers and all that, and that's what they do. But but going back, that was me growing up. It was the weekday cartoon. That's what got me going.
Yeah.
Watching that stuff, it got me, into like wanting to draw. I drew a little bit. I wasn't a great artist. I had people in my junior high and high school that could draw actual comic books.
Yeah.
And I was so jealous,
right.
But watching Star Wars, the anime, it made me inspired to want to draw, to just be creative and just have those fun times, and we don't have, the hobby shops we have now, we didn't really have them back then. There was no neighborhood, hobby shop where you can go buy the Yamato model. I'm sure in Japan they were all over the place. So you can imagine me, I'm like, well, where's the hobby shop? Well, there's a Kawasaki motorcycle shop. No, like a hobby shop where you can buy like hobbies and things like that. And
where did you grow up?
So,
what town? What city?
I was gonna say where you buy all the Gundam mechs, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, I grew up in Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
In San Pablo. I went to Kennedy High School. Before that, I went to Downer Junior High. Downer used to be in San Pablo used to be a junior high school. Now it's like an elementary school. But that was me, and I watched a lot of TV growing up. Because the neighborhood wasn't the greatest place in the world. So that was my safe haven. I stayed inside, watched TV. So I was like a human TV guide. I knew what was coming on. I was everything. It was all about syndication, things like that. So that's what it was. So when I watched cartoons on Saturday, it was just an extension of what I did the week,
Yeah, I feel I was the same way. I grew up in Santa Rosa, so we probably had some of the same Bay Area shows.
Mm-hmm.
Was that KTVU Channel 2 and stuff
like
that?
Right. Oh, Captain Cosmic, dude. Ultraman, Spectreman, dude. I could do a whole show just on them. Okay.
We interviewed Ultraman, dude. We interviewed one of the dudes who played Ultraman.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
We interviewed Starfire. from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Actually, I think she might be the next one.
Firestar.
Firestar. Excuse me.
She actually might be the next interview I'm releasing.
Angelica Jones, Firestar. It was cool. I loved her origin story they did. I think in season. Well, actually, it was only one season, but they did an episode where they focused on each spider friend. So there was an Iceman origin story, a Firestar origin story, and how they both met the X-Men towards the end.
Yeah,
kind of pulled in with the X-Men. I thought that was cool because they were mutants. And then I did a Spider-Man origin story. Yeah, those. I've
been talking about doing a new Firestar origin, like because I know they just announced that they're doing a new comic book for Firestar.
Well,
so,
she's in the comics right now. There was like a vote to bring back who's the character you want featured, and Firestar won. So she's back in the comics now. Yeah. She had her original outfit on, but I think they just changed her outfit because they can do anything they want right now with
also because it needed to
Krakoa.
Be up. That was a very 1970s costume that needed to be updated.
Right, exactly. In a mask. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many ways that you can make Firestar look badass. I mean, like, you look at the updates that they did for Pyro, right? Like Pyro looks sick as hell in the comics now, right? So it's like you can make Firestar look badass.
Yeah, totally. You can always make new outfits.
All right, young Phil, give me a growing up geeky, some kind of TV edition, since we've been talking about TV shows or cartoons.
Oh man, that gets difficult not to bring up something that I've already brought up, because originally I had said that what one of my earliest memories was the 1966 Batman, right? Like that was one of the things that kind of like is one of my earliest memories of something that I would just watch on reruns on TV Land all over and over again, and that, and then the Fleischer Superman cartoons.
Oh,
right.
School. Okay.
Yeah. That was kind of a little inspiration for Batman the animated series.
Oh yeah.
That was part of the inspiration. Yeah.
And that's why Batman the animated series is so gothic the way that it is because a lot of that has to do with the Fleischer Superman cartoons.
Yep. Very dark deco. Yep.
Right. My mom had gotten me the VHS copy of the old Fleischer bunch of episodes of the Fleischer Superman cartoons. I wish I still knew where it was at, because my mom, I'm pretty sure she still has that. But I mean, the old Fleischer Superman cartoons, like, faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Superman, yes, Superman. That was one of those things that, like, is very, very, like, DC, like a lot of the DC stuff is where like my heart is at as far as like what turned me into a nerd, right? Was the idealism of Superman, Batman. Later on I got into Green Lantern, right? But I mean, like, it was those characters. I didn't really start getting into Marvel until later on, right? And Spider-Man, I kind of started getting into Spider-Man later on, but I was more into Batman and Superman when I was a kid. So I was like, like if we're going to talk like TV stuff between Fleischer and Adam West, those are probably the things that I can remember early on. Now, if we're going to stay in the realm of anime, right? The anime that started me is one that I mentioned earlier on while we were talking, was Guyver. Yeah, Guyver is what got me into anime. And it was because I watched the Guyver movie with Mark Hamill. Right, that movie was dark. If you remember,
and Jimmy Walker.
That's right, Jimmy Walker. But if you remember,
Jimmy Walker, Dynamite.
He said that at the end. He did a fan service at the end of that movie. Yeah.
That movie was so gory and dark, right? And just I didn't have an issue with gore as a kid, right? Like I watched Nightmare Nightmare on Elm Street. And I loved Freddy Krueger, and I thought Jason was badass, right? This is me as a kid. So Guyver didn't really like phase me, right? I remember as a kid trying to find things that I could, like, I didn't know what it was called. I remember watching it and just not remembering the name of it. So asking my mom to find it for me, and she would get me like these kids movies. Like she got me Star Kid one time, and I was like, this is not what I'm looking for.
How dare you?
right? I don't know what the hell this is, but it's not Guyver, right? But like the Guyver, I watched the Guyver as a kid. Again, got confused with Mick Guyver, and I was like, this is not a dude in a robot suit that's like killing people. Like, what the hell is this? And one of my best friends, when I was a kid, Jonathan Billups, he was one of my best friends as a kid. He was my neighbor, like two doors down.
I know him. I think I know John Billups.
You know Jonathan Billups?
Did he work at Best Buy too?
I don't think so. I haven't seen him since I was a kid, man.
And Billups that sounds so familiar. But
Yeah.
I'll look up on your Facebook and see if I recognize him. Like,
Yeah. But
but continue. Yeah.
As kids, I remember I used to sleep over at his house, and he would wake up on Saturday mornings at like 6 a.m, right? Because before Saturday morning cartoons came on, you could tune to Sci-Fi, and they had an anime block at 6 o'clock in the morning. This is like early 90s, right? And so
back in my day, we didn't have Sci-Fi.
but
we had to watch the whole block.
Yeah, we had to watch the whole block to go watch anime,
and we liked it.
Go to the manga stores. and then like, you know, the young kids are listening to this like, what the hell's a manga store? Yeah, kids, there were stores in Japantown dedicated to manga. All right. But I mean, you know, like we he introduced me to every Saturday morning at 6 o'clock, Guyver would play. And I started waking up at 6 o'clock every morning, every Saturday morning, so that I could watch Guyver. Right.
Wow.
Yeah, and it went from that, like I would watch Guyver. I watched Sailor Moon for a little bit because the art style was just kind of like, oh well, this is similar, okay, right? But then that's what led me to Ronin Warriors and Dragon Ball Z and you know, like Trigun, you know, like a lot of the other stories that were out there. You know, later on, obviously, you know, like I was a teen when this came out, but Samurai Champloo, right? It was like amazing. That was like one of my favorite shows. Right. You know, so it's like, you know, if we're going into like anime, like, you know, what got me into anime was Guyver. And I've been meaning to rewatch that series because it's on Hulu right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, real quick, it isn't like Hulu and Funimation and Crunchyroll a blessing, because going to anime, there was a time in the mid 90s where you had to order like stuff off the Preview magazine at the comic store, and they would have like, you know, if you were into like Gunbuster or Appleseed, you had to order the VHS tapes, right? And they would take forever to come in. And they were like 30 minutes long, 30, 45 minutes, and that was it. And they're like $50.
Yeah. You know? That's why I was saying that was the blessing of me growing up in San Francisco was, you know, you can go to Japantown and go to a manga store and they had the manga there, but then you could also buy the anime, and they would have like, you know, like these walls of anime. Again, if you didn't know what you were, if you were an idiot, like a kid like me that just like, I like the artwork on this, I'm gonna buy it, and you bought fucking what's the name of the porn? I was like, you would accidentally buy
hentai,
hentai, right?
Right.
I mean, that was a guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's what it is called. And you would accidentally buy hentai, and the store owners didn't care because they were just like, oh, whatever, you know, we're just trying to sell whatever, right? So like you would accidentally buy hentai and be like, what the fuck is this? There's tits, but it's not interesting. Like, what is this?
I mean, let's not judge art. Okay,
no,
guys.
That's the thing, is that when you're watching anime to watch anime, and then you run into that, and you're like, what is this crap? Because there's no story to it. So you're just like, this sucks. And then, you know, you throw it away and try to go find the anime that you're actually looking for. That's how that's the type of nerd that anime and manga fans are.
That's a waste of money if you're throwing it away. That's rude.
You get a chance to go, you know, watch a porn that other people are going to be like, oh my God, it's porn, especially like a kid, as a kid. And you're just like, no, I wanted Dragon Ball Z. What is this?
Yeah, exactly.
The hell is this tentacle doing? I'm out of here.
I bet you people tuning in right now are like, what the hell are they talking about? Porn?
I know, right?
I thought this was a nerd channel. What happened?
The hentai epised.
I know, right?
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's like, we have to.
But did you watch hentai?
I'm not saying I did or didn't, but I know the tentacle episode that you're talking about. I know exactly what it is.
Oh,
I don't know what it is, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
I have it on Laserdisc. Don't worry about it.
Now, James.
Oh my God, Laserdisc. Let's. Oh.
Now, James, I know you're not much of an anime guy, but there are things that are anime adjacent that you're into, or that you were into when you were younger. Give us an idea of things that you remember as a kid that were, if not actual anime, that were like anime adjacent stuff. So again, like Robotech or like
yeah. That's exactly it. I grew up on, like, my cousin who was in the chat earlier, Dean.
Yeah,
we grew up watching Robotech. He grew up in Daly City, so like he always had all the access to Robotech and Voltron and that sort of thing. So like I still have that, the toys that we used to buy. I still have that stuff in my garage right now. Like I have a Veritech in my garage. I have one of the Robotech season 2 like motorcycles.
Yeah,
the Cyclone things. I still have that in my garage right now.
Yeah. Which I know he's not in the chat right now because he had to go step away. But now that we're talking about Robotech, he's been posting all kinds of stuff about Robotech chats.
Yeah. He's like, Robotech.
I know, right? Well, but mainly Amazon has been talking for a while about trying to get the rights to do a Robotech movie.
That would be awesome.
They were talking about this. Oh, you said Amazon now? Because they were supposed to do a major motion picture. I think they were toying with that idea. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Akira. Never mind. Move on.
Oh, that's a whole different monster right there, man. Akira deserves a live action thing, but like, I mean, especially now that we're getting into a phase where we can actually make cyberpunk a reality. Like, now is the time to do Akira.
Yeah, if there was ever a time. Yeah, I mean, I know the Ghost in the Shell live action movie wasn't. I liked it for what it was. I could care less about Scarlett Johansson's. I thought her performance was okay. I thought the cyberpunk feel of Ghost in the Shell was great.
Yeah.
And all the Asian symbolism and all that. So I thought it was great. So I wish it made more money because they were using that as a litmus test to see, okay, can Japanese and anime property be a big success? Big budget wise.
Same thing with Alita. Like I thought Alita was good.
Yeah, Alita was. Yeah, it's just that so much money goes into it, Philippe. I mean, I'm not saying anything that you don't already know, but you got to put a lot of money in it to make it look good, and they just want a big return on their investment. Even though if it's a good movie, if people,
look at Cowboy Bebop.
Support it, yeah.
Oh man, Cowboy Bebop. See, the problem with what Netflix is doing though is they try to fundamentally change the story and change the backgrounds of things.
Right.
And it doesn't work because they're trying to do, we want to be unpredictable. We have to do something different, but it's like you don't necessarily need to do that.
Right.
Like you can tell a story within that universe and have it be something that is akin to the universe without having to change all the fundamentals of the story.
Right.
Again, like, Death Note, the idea was, what if the book got dropped in the United States, right? Well, the problem with doing Death Note in the United States is half of that story is based on the way that the Japanese police force works, which is completely different from the U.S. police force.
Yes, exactly.
Like fundamentally not the same. And at the same time, again, they did not get into how dark that story is supposed to be, because that kid that gets the notebook, dude, he goes off the deep end and just starts murdering people, man. But it's like, like like Death Note, the way that the demon looked was amazing. And the fact that they got Willem Dafoe to play the demon, I don't think they could have gotten a better person to play him. Because dude, he killed it as the demon, dude. But I mean, like, that was the only good part of that show, was his portrayal of the demon.
It's funny if they would have said, yo, man, if you ever get a chance to play the Green Goblin again, don't wear the mask, just use your face. He's like, okay, if that ever happens.
Sounds good.
And then it happens.
Killed it. I still think he should play the Joker. I think that he would be perfect as the Joker.
Yeah, there's a tons of fan art with him on it, just like with Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. And it's like, here we are.
Yeah.
So we can wish this into existence, you guys. Yeah.
The problem is that at this point, Willem Dafoe is too old to play the Joker. But I mean, like, I think he would be an amazing Joker if they did something along those lines.
Old man Joker, right?
A Dark Knight Returns Joker.
He looks good as the Dark Knight Returns. I think he would be a good Joker opposite of Ben Affleck. But
Exactly. Oh, that'd be perfect.
But the problem is
that would be fantastic
because it will fit together. But the problem is that they already have Jared Leto's Joker in that universe.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can fix that.
Flashpoint.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I really think Flashpoint is going to fix something. I know it's going to change something. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's going to be a different DC. Hopefully.
Hopefully, it's going to fix Ezra Miller.
Yeah. Oh my God. The only property, and going back to what we were saying, the only property I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard a lot of good things, is the Inuyasha series.
Oh yeah.
I've heard the live action is actually really good.
I haven't. Wait, there's a live action of that?
Dude, there's like 7 movies.
Where can I watch that?
It's on Netflix. Most of it's on Netflix.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a lot of it's on Netflix now, but I mean, like Netflix, they started the Inuyasha series, and there's like 7 movies now.
I'll be watching that. Thank you, sir.
That, and then apparently in Japan, it hasn't released in the US yet, but in Japan, there's a live action Attack on Titan.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I heard that like the actual live action version that they did is actually really good.
Interesting.
Sweet.
But then of course, the other stuff that we have. So like I mentioned Death Note, right? Like Death Note was not done right. Full Metal Alchemist, like I didn't even bother watching it because I heard that it was just terrible, right? Cowboy Bebop, like there's a lot of the essence of the character. I think the actors they got were great. They try to shoehorn in stories that didn't need to be there.
Right. Exactly.
Does I got a question on Cowboy Bebop. Does it end on a cliffhanger?
The show or the movie?
The show.
The show. Action show or the anime?
The show. The
Netflix series.
Netflix series, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that made me sway, because you said it was good and you're like, go watch it, but I'm like, I don't want to watch it if it's just gonna
put me in a
black hole.
It looks good. It looks good. There's some good, stuff in it. There's some good storytelling. Some parts where it's kind of all over the place in some cases, but it holds it off. I try to think if there was a cliffhanger. If it I can't remember.
Yeah,
I've only seen it just through one time, but I forgot how it ended.
We'll have to go back. So let's talk about what you're watching. By the way, my grown-up geeky.
I was gonna say one last thing on that too. As far as like what we're talking about here. So Lupin the Third needs a live action. They have Lupin, right? Like they have based on the actual book, because remember he's like a French character, like he's from a French book. So Lupin, they have a show on Netflix that's based on Lupin, the dude who like the master gentleman thief. Lupin the Third, the anime that's based on that book, where he's the third descendant of that character from the book, where it's like almost cyberpunk in the future, but it's like Lupin doing the same thing. He's a gentleman thief.
Okay.
I think that would be a cool thing.
Dude, that'd be cool. Heck yeah. Dude.
You guys got a lot of anime to watch. We should have had an anime segment.
Yeah. Anime Wednesday.
Maybe we'll do something more anime centric after we do Anna Medford, because of that way our viewership can see that we actually do watch anime.
There we go. There we go.
There you go.
All right, let's get into what you're watching, and it might even be anime after this.
Right.
I know, right? It's like
but let me run down what I'm watching, because a lot of these are still in play, and I know a lot of us are watching them together. But like I'm watching She-Hulk.
Yes. I love She-Hulk. And
I was going to ask for your quick opinion on it.
Yeah, I was going to say the thing I love most about She-Hulk is not even what the series is doing, because they're doing a great job with everything on there. I even like the retooling of her origin story, because it's very different from her origin story in the comic. But the thing I love most is how meta this show is, because they knew what people were going to say about it, and they addressed it ahead of time, right? They knew that all these toxic males that are like, all these incels that are like, I hate female characters and female characters are the worst, and like they don't even say female characters are the worst. They just don't like any property that has a female protagonist. I love that when in episode 2 they addressed that before, and they knew what people were going to say. They took comments that people said on YouTube when they announced the show and put it in the show, right? And said, "Oh, I think we need more Bruce Banner. Why do we have to? Why is there a female Hulk? Nobody wants to see a female Hulk and all this other stuff." And it's like, I love that they address this stuff.
Yeah.
Right? You know,
all the like self-deprecation, they took all the power away from anybody talking smack.
Right. You know, I think they're doing an amazing job with She-Hulk. I think the storylines are good. Even like last week's episode when it started off and she started making jokes about, oh yeah, no, I'm just going to a wedding and it's not going to be anything going on. And you see the progression in the episode and the story still moves, and the way that they did everything in last week's episode, I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
Like the writing in this show, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's breaking the fourth wall the way there's only 3 characters in comics that actually break the fourth wall: Deadpool, the Joker, and She-Hulk. And they address that that She-Hulk breaks the fourth wall. And I love that.
All right, Gotham
That's
guy.
great. That's great.
Gotham guy, what do you think?
That's fantastic, Philippe, for you. No, I watched 2 episodes of She-Hulk and I kind of tapped out. And it's not that I don't think it's a terrible show. It's just
a horrible show.
I don't think it's a terrible show. Actually, I've given it a great deal of thought, and I really hate it. No, it's you know, like for example, you're saying it's a show that it breaks the fourth wall, and it's like, okay, I got that in Deadpool. To me, I just like watching the best of different types of stuff, and I seem like in some cases I've seen this before. It's kind of like with some of the Star Wars stuff in Disney Plus. It's like they're kind of doing the same type of rinse and repeat, with things. So I don't watch this like I'm like, okay, I've seen this before, so I'm going to something else. Plus, sometimes I feel that the Disney Plus shows are supposed to take the place of the movies right now. So I think it should tell a story that's going to lead up to, phase 4, phase 5, and in most cases it has not done that. For me. So
right.
She-Hulk, I'm sure, great show, and I love the meta. I mean, the meta thing is cool, and it is that way. I mean, I have Sensational She-Hulk #1. I have the one she joined the Fantastic Four. When the Thing left, and then she had her own book, the Sensational She-Hulk. That was really meta. So, that's fun. I wasn't a big collector of a comic per se, but I knew it existed. I knew what her comic was about. So, I just wish I personally wish that the show wouldn't focus so much about the negativity of the toxic male, because I think that if the show isn't for them, well, then who is the show for? And the question is, are they getting viewers for that? So if it's for this demographic, then there should be a big demographic supporting that show. If there are people watching it because they want to see if it's going to build towards a storyline with, Secret Wars or what have you, you got to make sure that you don't disappoint those fans. So so when I'm not saying it has to be everything and please everybody. It's just that, if the show is just about that, then that's fine. It might not garner the same viewership, but if you're doing it because of that, and that's what you want to do, then it's fine. But don't do a show and then be upset if everybody doesn't gravitate towards it, And I'm not saying that I'm mad at Philippe because he likes it, because that's stupid on my part. I'm not going to get mad if you don't like something. I'm sure I like something that the other people don't like. So I'm not one to, I don't hate watch stuff like most people. Usually they hate watch shows. This show was garbage. Here's my review, and then they review the show. Why they hate it. I'm like, well, then why'd you review the show if you hate it? Because I get viewership. That's why, Clicks. Hello, rinse do,
Right.
But,
it's the same thing with He-Man Revelations, right? Everybody who hated hard on that show, you watched it 3 or 4 times, so you just made the viewership go up.
Right, exactly. Why is it getting a season 3? Because you supported it. That's why we got a Batgirl season 3. I mean, a Batwoman. We weren't supposed to get a season 3, but you kept hate watching it, and they thought it was actual positive views.
I think She-Hulk. She-Hulk's for white girls. Like. I joke around about that.
Not after that dance. No, I think I think some guys kind of like, hey, some brothers are like,
Hey,
okay.
A lot of hate after she started twerking, and people were like, "Oh, well, she's twerking." It was like, if it was Deadpool twerking, nobody would have any problem with it. If it was any male character doing anything like that, no one would have an issue with it. It's like, it's only because it's a female character doing what she's doing and whatnot, and like people are having all these problems with it. Like, yeah, it's there. A part of what they're addressing.
You gonna start twerking? Why are you getting up?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna forget it now.
Part of what they're addressing is kind of like, again, they're opening up more of like the street level stuff within the MCU. And it's, I think it is leading into a Matt Murdock and what he does during the day. She's going to end up working with Matt Murdock at this point, at some point in the show, right? We've already seen it in the trailer. So it's like, like it's going through Matt Murdock's day to day, right? And then introducing that there are, more pseudo superheroes coming out of the woodwork, right? And just kind of like what they're fleshing out the world more with what they're doing with She-Hulk. They're also establishing the character so that way when she becomes an Avenger, it makes more sense.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Yeah. I mean, that'd be cool. I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm getting out of this show, right? It's like, even if it's like, small little things and whatnot, like we're getting character establishment out of it, and we're also getting a establishment of the day to day, because they made it, evident from the beginning. It's She-Hulk, attorney at law, right? She's an attorney, and that's kind of what she is in the comics too. It's just kind of she's an attorney that reluctantly has to be a hero. So it's kind of like that kind of thing. And that's kind of what I'm getting out of it, out of this whole series.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope we do. I mean, if the end result is getting the other characters and getting her character fleshed out to where she'll be a bigger part in the Avengers, I hope so. I hope it doesn't go the way of Moon Knight. It was like 6 episodes and we're done. And the lead guy is not coming back. Well, okay, what was the point?
We're going to get more Moon Knight though. They've already said that there's if not another season of Moon Knight, we're getting more Moon Knight at some point. They've already announced that they're doing Midnight Suns, and Moon Knight's part of Midnight Suns.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So like,
then you got to bring in Ghost Ride.
But I mean, that's another character that Feige has said that he they tried to say they want to make do something with that character, and he said no. I have plans for Ghost Rider. He's bringing Robbie Reyes back, so I don't know when he's doing it, but it's like, I'm actually, when he said that, I was excited, like, oh my god, we're gonna get Robbie Reyes, so Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider. We're gonna get, you put Robbie Reyes together, Blade, Doctor Strange, and Moon Knight, and you have Midnight Suns.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah, as far as She-Hulk goes, like, I know it's not the deepest show. It's not the one that's gonna make you think, or the grittiest show. It's not Falcon and Winter Soldier. But it's also doing something where, like, I can watch this with my wife, who doesn't really watch all the movies. I think she's only watched she hasn't watched all the shows either. Now I'm thinking about it, but it's that lightheartedness where it's like, okay, I can just watch this and I can follow it without some, leaning over and being like, what did I just watch? Why do I care about all these other people?
Right.
So I think it's something for, the average fair weather fan to like grab onto.
And you know what, to add to that, I will say that a foundation is built on something, and everybody doesn't like the same thing at the same time at once.
Right.
Like, for example, The Big Bang Theory, I didn't really watch the show at first. And then I watched it because, okay, well, this one character is cool. You probably didn't like Sheldon at first, but maybe you liked Amy Farrah Fowler because she was kind of a gawky, geeky girl. You're like, oh, she's kind of funny and always, shy and kind of offbeat, whatever. So you want that. And then you start learning about Howard and then, Raj, and then it goes back to Sheldon and all that. Then you love the whole show, so maybe it does take that one character kind of to suck you in, like with comic books, it's like, I remember all I would collect at the time was, I think, was that?
And why wouldn't you like Blossom? Because you said Amy Farrah Fowler. I'm like, why wouldn't you like Blossom?
Man, let us go back to the 80s again.
I'll tell you what, though, about She-Hulk. If the show ended right now, but I think we still have like 4 more episodes.
Right.
And the most
I think we lost James. It's been so
That's it.
good this entire episode.
I know
we-
everything was going great. You there? Okay.
I'm right here.
Okay.
If I got Wongers and Madison out of this
Oh,
show,
yeah.
I'm happy. I'm happy.
Okay.
If you haven't
He's
seen
happy.
how Wong is in the show, you're missing
yeah.
out.
Oh, no, he's
hilarious. I love Wong, dude. Like I love the way that they're they have that whole character together. Like again, it's funny. When my favorite thing that happens within all of these things is something that they probably didn't expect to blow up and be like, oh yeah, this is what people are loving. When that becomes something that everybody loves, right? So this character, what's her name, Madison, right? What you say? It's there's a Y in it, but it's not where you think it is, right? Like he's blowing up as a character to a point where there are memes where people are like, I want a Madison and Wong show, you know, and it's like you know, they probably weren't thinking that people were gonna take this throwaway character and just gravitate towards her like that. You know, that's one of my favorite things is runaway kind of like things that happen in these shows, man.
Yeah. You mean like in wrestling when somebody takes off and it wasn't expected and it was done organically? Yeah.
Exactly, right? Like when Becky Lynch goes over and when Vince isn't trying to make her go over, right?
Exactly.
We're not gonna get into that. Let's move into the next show, man, because we've talked enough about She-Hulk.
I know, right? Let's just jam through these. So a couple shows that are done because the other ones are still going on. But have you guys watched Umbrella Academy and Cobra Kai?
Yes.
What kind of question is that, dude? Come on.
I just had to make sure.
Dude, this is how I do my Netflix shows. And I'm going to say this. So on the night before it premieres, it kicks in at midnight, right? You know, and that's when it drops. So on the day because I work on Friday. So what I do is I come home, I go to sleep around like 8:30, maybe 9, wake up at 11:45, start streaming about maybe 5 episodes, go back to sleep. You know, depending. Well, Cobra Kai is easy because they're like half-hour shows.
Yeah.
I get to like 5, 6, 7 episodes. I still get about maybe 3, 4 more hours of sleep in. Go to work and then come home and then binge watch the other, and then I'm done. So that's how I do my Netflix shows. If they're hour shows, I gotta wait. You know, it takes 2 days to get it done. You know, but once they drop, especially Umbrella Academy, the way season 2 ended, and that cliffhanger, man. And then the pandemic hit, so you have to wait a little longer. Oh my God!
I know.
It's like, come on.
Dude, I love the cliffhanger at the end of this last season, man. Just the way that they kind of ended it, and it's like, okay, so now none of them have powers,
right? Because that was the wish. That was
right. But at the same time, his wife is alive now, and I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna be ridiculous.
Yep. Is that what the father wanted? It's like, and now he's in charge of the city. He owns like that corporation. Is like what's his deal?
Number one's not an ape anymore.
Yeah. So there's like some good and some bad. Of course he'll love it for a while. Then they're like, oh, we have to go back and be the way we were because we got to save humanity. So he's got to go back to being the beast. It was fun while it lasted. Sorry, Angel, you can't walk around in the daytime anymore. You gotta get back to ring.
That's what it is. Like you can't have it all. Just like this whole season, what's her name? She was missing her daughter the entire time. Like,
oh yeah,
right.
We saved the world, and she's like, I'm missing my daughter. I don't care about the world.
So selfish this season, man. She was so selfish this season.
I know.
But I think that's what made her character like that. she was like the pseudo villain this season, And
yes,
it's like that's what made you. It's almost like the thing that should make her endearing to you, made you dislike her. Because she was so selfish. She did not care about anyone else but herself and her needs.
Yeah,
made her just like unlikable.
But it was believable.
It was
like that's a mother that will do anything to get her daughter back.
Right. Yeah. Because the thing is what's messed up about the way they wrote that character is, at least this season, is she didn't do anything that should make you hate her. Right? Like if you really look at her justifications for things and what she did, there's no reason to hate her. because everything she did was justifiable. What
Yeah.
it is, it's the manner and the way she carried herself, and the fact that she just did not care about anyone else but herself and her needs. It just made you just
because she put her needs before everyone else in the previous 2 seasons.
right.
So at that point, you're like, I'm fed up. I've had it. Look what we did. Look what we did.
Right.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Yeah, and the conflict between her and Ellen Page's character, forgot her name or
Elliot
his
Page.
name now.
Elliot Page.
Elliot.
You know
Yeah.
what? You know
Victor,
what? What I liked about what they did with that is they addressed that Elliot Page changed his gender, and they addressed it in the show to make him more comfortable. And I think that's actually really good.
Yeah.
Dude, I think it worked out great. And it wasn't all in your face about it, too. It was kind of like, it was a nice blend, of who she realized who he was.
Right.
And if you even watch season 2, it kind of builds to that. There's building blocks.
Right.
So when it happens, it wasn't like, oh, they just made this meta because it happened in real life, so blah, blah. But there was it did both sides, did it because that's what Ellen wanted, now, and all that. And then they did it and it worked in the show.
He probably told them early on that I'm planning on transitioning, and they were like, "Okay, you know what? Let's plant the seeds early, so that way, by the time you transition, we can transition you in the show, and it's not as off-putting."
Right. Exactly.
Or not.
Great.
Off-putting is the wrong word. It's not as much of a shock.
Yeah.
Right.
I like the way they had the other characters handle that discussion, and they handled it, at different times. It wasn't like one big thing.
Yeah.
It was everybody was told kind of individually.
I like how one was the last one to figure it out, and he was just like, "Oh, what? Hold on.
Yeah.
What the hell happened?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
but all of them were like, "Oh, okay, that's a shock, but we still love you."
Yeah,
Like,
and they went along with it immediately. Like, no, there was. You would think that there would, in the addressing of it, there would have been at least one character who was just like, I don't agree with this. But it was like the family bonds were stronger than anything else, and they they continued to play on that, and I love that they made it work in that universe in a way that made sense.
Yep. Oh,
okay, let's keep going because
so
Cobra Kai.
Oh, man, yes,
loved it.
Yeah,
there were so many twists in this season that I did not. It ended where I did not expect it to end.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So, and the character dynamics. The whole rumor is that they're gonna do like this Karate Kid, Cobra Kai universe of like multiple shows, multiple movies. I'm kind of all for doing spin-offs with just some of these shows, some of these characters,
Right.
I think you kind of have to because there's so much. I mean, if there's one, I'm going to say it's an issue with Cobra Kai, but let's be honest, so many new characters that you like, So Hawk doesn't have that much screen time this season because we got to focus on Kenny or more about Terry Silver and the new senseis coming in and all that. So he, and Miguel and Robbie doing, bonding and stuff like that. So you have to kind of like, okay.
I like callbacks to Kim that they brought Kim's granddaughter into it, right? Like you've heard that name for at least 2 movies, right? And it's like, I studied under Sensei Kim, and then you finally see a glimpse of Sensei Kim, but they bring in his granddaughter, and she's way more ruthless than you would imagine him.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah!
Right. So I love that they did that. I'm waiting for Julie Pierce to show up.
You know what? My theory is that she's been on the show since season 2. We haven't seen her. I'm thinking she's Tori's mom because they keep showing the room and her coughing, but you never see her. But they keep focusing on the fact that she's taking care. I don't know if that's just for her character development. Oh, she's not all bad because she's taking care of her mom and her mom is sick. But there's got to be an end goal to that. So I'm like, I don't know. Part of me just think that I don't know. I could be totally wrong.
They are really good about dropping little hints here and there about what's going to happen,
Totally
like foreshadowing.
Have the last name if she took her dad's last name.
Could be. Yeah.
Easy enough.
So I mean, that would be crazy if Julie Pierce ends up being her mom. Like, but the thing is like, and that would also explain why she's so attuned into martial arts.
Right.
Like, what if she finally has a conversation with her mom and she never knew that her mom was part of Miyagi?
Miyagi-Do. Right.
Yeah.
that would be an awesome storyline.
Yeah.
I was saying like a while back, because like, you know, a lot of people are like, well, no, I don't want to see Julie Pierce in this, because that a lot of people didn't like Next Karate Kid, but it's like, but it's like at the same time, look at every messed up storyline within the first 3 movies, and they've righted everything and explained everything in a way that now makes sense, right?
Yep.
It is not hard to fix all the things that people hated about Julie Pierce.
And remember in the scene, in the bar scene, when they're talking about Chosen, when he used to like cheat his customers by making the plates, you know, lighter or whatever. And then I think it was either Daniel's wife or Johnny's girlfriend. It was like, wait, if you were cheating, does that mean that you were cheating yourself? You know, like, and I'm sure people like who watch it was like, yeah, it's like the weights would add up, so he'd be losing money too, you know. So when they reference it, I'm like, yeah, exactly. You know, I thought that was so cool how they write the shit. They're like,
and his answer was like, I wasn't very smart. I don't know.
Right, exactly.
I love that they addressed like plot holes from the original movies and gave explanations to them where now everything makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, a lot of them are just like, oh yeah, human mistakes, right? And it's like, oh, see, you know, like it's just showing that everything doesn't have to be perfect,
right? Yeah. Right. So no, they can totally do. I mean, they've gone this far with cameos. I mean, they did what's her name from Karate Kid Part 3? You know, Robin. I think her name Robin or whatever. You know,
the girlfriend. Yeah.
Or friend girl. You know, like his girlfriend in Part 3. But
the fact that they made his ex, or like just his love interest from the 3rd movie, is his wife's cousin.
Yeah.
Right. Introduce him to. Yeah. Exactly. How cool is that? Yeah.
Right? And then like they just like how intricate all these storylines are, and you know, you have the storyline where spoilers for anybody that hasn't watched it yet, but like you have the storyline where they're arguing and she explains Terry Silver's a problem, you need to understand where he's coming from, you know. Like, I love that about what they've done with all of this. Like, you know, they've intertwined everything and made everything where everything makes sense, you know. I just, it's such smart writing.
Very smart. Dude, speaking of Terry Silver, real quick. MVP. I mean, I would say Chosen, probably the funniest one. So he's my MVP, but MVP villain, dude. Terry Silver is amazing. But what makes him even great is the one scene that sticks out of all season 5 was, I think it was episode 6 or 7 called Bad Eggs, is when they're trying to find the next leader of the dojo or whatever. They're having a little tournament where you team up with somebody. And Kenny teamed up with the Asian guy. I forgot his name.
Yeah. John, I think his name.
No,
it's Kyle. That was what's his name's first boyfriend. Yeah. You know, and he's the leader or whatever. And he's saying, no, Kenny, I got this. And they can't focus or whatever. And then he calls Kenny in and he sits him down and says, you know, when your dad, you was in the military, right? So what happened when he got shipped away? Oh, my brother took care of me. Oh, yeah. From Juvie. Yeah. And then when he went away, who took care of you? It was like Robbie Keane. And now you're following orders from Kyle. So he was. What was great about that scene was he was saying that I followed him my whole life. My father, my sergeant, my lieutenant, my best friend. You know, it wasn't until I followed my own path. That meant something. It wasn't some nefarious plot like in Karate Kid Part 3 where he's just telling lies to feed your mind to make him think you're better. This was actually true stuff. Kenny actually progressed because of Terry Silver. It wasn't something like, I'll make him better. I mean, I'll make him think he's good, and I'm gonna fuck him up in the end. No, that was from the heart. That meant something to him. You know, he goes like, you know, well, Kyle's the leader. Like, did I say that? You know,
That also the whole thing is the bond between Kenny and Terry, so that makes it like that much harder for them to pull Kenny away from everything. You know,
exactly.
Like when you get to the season finale and you see the situation that happens with Terry and everything like that, like it took everything for Robbie to prove that Terry Silver was a piece of shit. Right.
That
and even then he was like, I can't talk to you right now, man. I gotta go. You know, I got some stuff in my head. It's like, you know, even now he's conflicted now. Kenny's conflicted.
Right.
You know,
that scene built up because they talked about like who told you what to do this, and then it was Robbie, then it was you, and then he's like, who's gonna tell you what to do now? And he's like, I don't know. Tell me what to do, Sensei. And he's like, I'm gonna tell you, you will never ask that question ever again.
I love it.
Exactly.
Go out there and be the leader. He's like,
that was great.
Boom.
The scary thing about Terry Silver was yes, he's portrayed as a complete terrible piece of shit bad guy. But the thing is that he is giving good life advice.
Right. Exactly.
He's teaching how to be a leader and how to lead, how to take control of his own life. Like he is actually doing what he says that he's seeking to do, and teaching people how to take control of their own lives and make themselves more successful. He's doing exactly what he's saying he's going to do. It's just he's also a fucking dirtbag. So it's like,
exactly.
You know.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Or he's just a really good manipulator.
Yeah. But I mean,
like I actually felt that in season 4 when he was introduced, when him and Kreese went to Miyagi-Do and he saw Daniel for the first time in like forever, and he told him that, you know, Daniel, I'm sorry for what I did. I wasn't in my right mind. I'm truly sorry. And then Daniel kind of brushed off like whatever. I really think that he was trying to extend a little bit of olive branch, like, because he seemed pissed when he didn't accept his apology.
Right.
Like, okay, I actually was being sincere, but you're going to be a little dick. Okay, fine. Let's roll with it, because, you know, because he's trying to find himself. There was there's a little bit of, I love shows like that. You can go back and watch something that you didn't really notice the first time. Something's rewatchable. You know, a foreshadowing. I love that in shows.
Yeah.
Movies and shows. Foreshadow. It was like, oh, that's right. You go back and go, oh, that's right, because in episode 1 he did this, and now here we are. You know,
Cobra
how do
Kai
you get from there to here?
really, really well. Cobra Kai does a really good job of that. Really good
Hell
job.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, FYI, at the San Francisco Expo in November, William Zabka and Kreese is going to be one of the guests there. So I will be there.
Nice.
Yeah, I will be there getting their autograph. There's a bunch of others guests going to be there too.
That sounds awesome.
So I gotta ask you a question, man. Are you watching House of the Dragon?
I'm on episode 3 actually. I'm about 2 episodes behind. Work's been killing me, but I was gonna say that's one of the shows I am watching since we're on the subject now. House of the Dragon. I am on. I've been watching that. I like it. I like it. You know, I'm not a huge Game of Thrones fan. I like Game of Thrones, but I didn't really get into it till like later, when it really became really. Then I started watching the older episodes. I wasn't there season 1 because I was watching, I think, The Walking Dead and True Blood and The Tudors, and I just didn't have time for Game of Thrones.
Jen, are you watching House of the Dragon?
Totally watching House of Dragon. Totally watching Rings of Power as well.
Yeah,
Are you watching both? Are you watching both?
I haven't started watching Rings of Power yet.
What?
Yeah, it's House of Dragon right now.
A lot of it.
It's not Tolkien. Okay.
No, it's not, and that's the argument everybody makes on it. I'm still gonna watch it. The issue is,
it's not Peter Jackson.
Yeah,
to be honest,
no, it's the argument that I hear from fans is that because it's not anything from the books, people don't want to watch it because it's not like something that Tolkien wrote. You know? But it's kind of like, if it's in the vein of the universe, I'm not upset with it. I mean, that's not something that I hold against it, because what you're saying is you need to limit a property because the original writer is dead, and you should only go off the properties that are there. Like that's like saying that Shadow of Mordor shouldn't have been made, even though that was an amazing game.
Yeah, honestly, I love the Peter Jackson movies. This series, it still feels like Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, even though it's not. But like, what I love about it is like it puts you back into like the whole Middle Earth, and the storylines are easy to grab onto.
Nice.
And like the elves are badass. You know, I mean, like you get some badass elves running around. I dig this show. It's fun.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I'll check it out once all the episodes are done, so I can do a quick binge, because I'm still a big proponent of that. I mean, there's some shows that I can wait a week, like, you know, like The Boys, you know, the weekly show, stuff like that. But I just love binge watching, especially because I love sci-fi fantasy. So if that's something I'm going to get into, and let's be honest, there's not that many sci-fi fantasy shows out there right now. So that old saying, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man was king. So it's like, you know, Rings of Power, you know, I mean, House of Dragon, Rings of Power. Okay, we'll watch them because they're out there. And what else is there? You know, there's no other fantasy shows as of right now.
Right.
That's not named Star Wars, you know.
Yeah, I watched part of the first episode, and I thought it was interesting how they made Sauron, like, you know, at this point in time, Sauron was like a underling magician. not like, you know, he's not this powerful, all powerful being yet. And I'm like, that's a really interesting concept to me. Is you know, the way that they're telling the story is this is even before Sauron becomes what he becomes.
Voldemort, the early years. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Voldemort
Keep watching. It gets more interesting.
Right.
right.
So I mean
Okay.
that all being said with that, and we mentioned this earlier, we're all watching Andor at this point, right?
Yep.
I watched the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I got to get into the next one.
Yeah, there's only 3.
Yeah.
There's 3 episodes. They released 3.
Yeah, I watched only because obviously with the first 2 came out at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, dude, so good. Like I said, I was not expecting. Number one, I wasn't expecting the amount of violence that's in that show. On a Disney show. Like the first thing he does is basically like accidentally kills a dude and then just executes the next dude. Like he summary he does a summary execution on that dude, man.
This is the opposite of She-Hulk.
Oh yeah.
We're like, I can watch She-Hulk with my wife. I don't have to say anything. You know, we're watching Andor, and she's like, "Wait, why are we? What happened? Why is he doing this? Where's the Empire?" You know, like, oh god. You know, there's so much going on.
I mentioned this on something else we were talking about, but the cyberpunk nature of this, right? Like it's very. I wasn't expecting like this to be as cyberpunk as it is. So the idea of corporations are like ruling everything under the Empire, right? You know, and the Empire just supplements the corporations. Like there's never been mentions of the corporate nature within Star Wars, right? We've seen government and underground like governments and things like that, and resistance and stuff like that, but we've never really seen like corporate powers, and we're seeing corporate police in
the middleman.
Yeah, you know, and kind of like again like the cyberpunk nature of corporations running the game and there being a resistance to these powerful corporations. You know, and almost like a level of anarchy that's going on, right? Like it's just, you know, the resistance is basically an anarchist organization, and I'm just like, this is a really cool concept to do if you're going to be talking about the origins of the rebellion.
Yep, I dig it. It's an interesting show. It's definitely not a show for everybody.
No, it's not.
No,
the other thing is, he walks into a basically a whorehouse.
Yeah,
and you see a stripper in the background, like. And what's funny is I was like, this is not outside the nature of Star Wars because that's what Twi'leks are, right? Like Twi'leks are basically strippers, you know, or at least
hey, easy.
Oh no, hold on, I'm backtracking a little bit. When they're enslaved, they're essentially strippers.
Gotcha.
Better.
So when they're in bondage, they're essentially strippers. And
isn't everybody? Come on, you know, if you put me in bondage, technically, you know.
But even in the Mandalorian, there's a level of that, like, you know, in season 2 when he goes to the brothel, right? Yeah. And the Twi'leks that are in there are essentially they're essentially escorts.
Yeah,
you know.
Just
so it's,
don't tell Grogu that though. Come on.
Yeah, I know, right? And like you know, you have kind of like that level. Like you see more of it within within this. Like you see this corporate whorehouse, you see these summary executions, you see just this complete violent nature within Star Wars that is one of those things that is believable to be within this universe, but at the same time, I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah. Now, this is a show you should probably hold off on until if you're going to be binging, because it's 12 episodes.
Yeah.
This first season, so you got a long way to go.
Right.
No, I'll definitely watch the third episode and be caught up. I mean, all the shows I would watch every week when it came to Mandalorian and you know, Obi-Wan and you know, even Boba Fett or whatever. I mean, those were I watch every week. I didn't binge watch that. That was just, you know, being a Star Wars fan, that's something I can do. And I love Rogue One anyway, so that world building and Andor, I'm okay with that. You know, I just love that boots on the ground, you know what I mean? Just ground level stuff. Yeah, you know, that bounty hunter. It's, you know, the coolest parts of Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, and you know, that part is you know, the cantina bar and stuff like that. You know, and like I said, Cyberpunk, you know. Oh, but speaking of Cyberpunk, the reason why I haven't joined on the Twitch for Cyberpunk is because I own the game. I have not played the game yet because I want to get an OLED TV, and I bought the game a year ago, and I was waiting for all the all the upgrades and all the bugs to go out and stuff like that. I want to play the best version I can. That's not a high-end PC. So
yeah, you're gonna play with him after Black Friday, is what you're saying.
Pretty much, yeah. That's
exactly. Totally okay.
If I get my hands on a cool OLED, yes.
Yeah, now that they've put all the patches out and they fixed like all the issues with it,
it looks. I've seen some gameplay online. It looks really good. It looks
so good.
Yeah, I mean, I know if are you playing on a PC or a console?
I'm playing on Xbox Series X.
Okay, cool. Yeah. They added the 60 frames on the patch.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no.
Yeah, so now you can get 60 frames.
I play it on a monitor, but I stream it at 4K 60 frames.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So it's funny because everybody that's watching on the stream, they're seeing a much better picture than I am, and I get a lot of comments, like people in the comment section start talking about how good it looks and how amazing the fidelity and everything is. It's great, man.
Yeah. I mean, I wish they would have just come out with the PC version first and then the next gen versions, because I think that would have been a much better launch. They should have waited another year.
Caused that.
Was that?
The crunch culture caused that.
I know, but I mean, dude, I was at E3 when the Keanu Reeves was on stage. In fact, I was probably one of the girls. That girl you heard shouting, that was me. I actually got it. Mike Pondsmith, who created the original board game, shook his hand. I took a picture with him, and one of the guys gave me a VIP pass. Hey, go downstairs. You can cut the line and watch the demo. And I did, and the demo was great. But I peeked over, and it was a high-end PC on there. I was like, wait, this is coming out in March, and it's June. It's coming out for consoles. I was a little nervous. I'm like, I don't know, man. So even back then, I knew that this was made for like a 3-point-something gigahertz computer, high-end graphics card.
Right.
And I'm like, they should wait, but I understand they wanted to chase, that coin. PS4, because there's like a million of them out there. Half of that on the Xbox, whatever. They wanted more money. I get that, but I think it got a bad rap because even the initial launch for Cyberpunk on high-end on the next gen consoles and PC, depending on what graphics card you had, looked really good even at launch. Even with the bugs, it looked great. But they were showing all the current gen ones and thinking that was indicative to how the game was.
Right.
Which wasn't true. So, but that's what they wanted to do. So, hey, but you know what? They're making patches. Just same thing with The Witcher. The Witcher started buggy. So, it's a process. I see them doing Cyberpunk for a long time. The new DLC next year is going to be great. And that's going to be just for next gen only.
You heard that there's right now there's over 1 million players in Cyberpunk right now.
It jumped to 1 million.
When they announced the DLC, everybody started playing it. And what's funny is I started playing it about a week before they announced that DLC because I was like, well, now that we're not doing a show on Mondays, I can start doing a dedicated game stream. And I was like, I've been saying I'm going to play Cyberpunk forever. I'm going to finally play Cyberpunk. And it's like the next week the week after I played it the first time, they announced the DLC's coming out, and now there's 1 million players on Steam playing the game right now. And I thought that was just funny that like the timing of that, I started playing it right when like everybody started playing it again.
Yeah,
it almost seems like I was part of the trend, but I was like right before it.
Well, that's what everybody was waiting for, was that DLC. They announced, I mean, there's rumors saying they will be the one and only DLC for a long time, if any at all. But originally they planned to come up with multiple DLCs for free. And that was kind of the great thing about RPG games, that you get like unlimited game. You don't want to, I mean, yes, on the one campaign, you can do different possibilities. And I know that with Johnny Silverhand is more involved in the game than originally planned. And they were saying no matter what decisions you make, it still ends up being sort of the same. So they want more choice, more choose your own adventure, more outcome, because that's what an RPG game is. So that's what a D&D game is, I mean, your experience different from Philippe's experience.
Yeah, there is a lot of choose your own adventure in this game. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I just want to watch it on the best screen possible. So the LG C2 42 inches on my Christmas list. So y'all better get to work, man, and get this stream going. Get some sponsors, because I just need a new TV. No, I'm just kidding.
So
I love it.
the last two shows we're gonna talk about that we're watching right now, and I'm not sure if you're watching these ones, so just let me know. But I know me and James are watching Welcome to Wrexham.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, so on Hulu, Welcome to Wrexham. We've talked about it a couple times, but it's a
Or FX if you have cable.
it's true. It's on FX.
I have Hulu.
But Welcome to Wrexham is it's a documentary style show. And they release 2 episodes every week. It's about the soccer club that Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney.
Oh, I saw the trailer for that. Yes.
It's really good, man. Like it's the show. I just got caught up the other day. The show is really good, man. Like, you know, they finally where they're at in the series, they finally made their way out, because this is like right during the pandemic when they filmed everything.
Right.
They finally made their way out to England and went to a Wrexham game, and they're
Wales.
To Wales. Sorry, they made different country. They made their way. Sorry to all Welsh fans.
Exactly.
They made themselves out to Wales, and they were able to make their way to a game. And it's funny because they got to a match, and Wrexham lost, and they were just like really upset because they're like. At least the Wrexham players were upset because they were like, we embarrassed ourselves in front of the new owners.
Oh my God.
You know.
But it's kind of interesting because you get to see what they're going through, like owning it, but then like down to the pub down the street, and how, you know, getting this two big Hollywood stars buying their team, how does it affect the pub? How does it affect the lifelong fans that are, you know, in the pub every single day, every single match? Right. You know, what's their conversations like? And it's pretty cool how it affects.
You know what's funny?
Big and small.
There's another show that's kind of like that. It's on FX. I mean, not FX, Apple TV. It's with Jason Sudeikis. He actually got a
Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. Yeah. But I don't have Apple TV. I don't plan on getting Apple TV. So I'm like, oh, that's one show I haven't watched, whatever. Welcome to Wrexham is like, it's up my alley, because I really want to. I like those type of movies.
Find a way to watch Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso is amazing. I watched that show late, and I regretted not watching it when it first came out. That show is ridiculously funny.
Nice. See, why do I have Apple TV?
He's here. He's every fucking word. It's Roy Kent. I yelled that. So in the after credit scene from Thor. Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh yeah, nice.
So you know when Hercules shows up, right?
Yeah.
Right. We're sitting in the theater, and I looked up, was like, "Is that fucking Roy Kent?" People started laughing.
That's right. That's where I know him from. Yeah.
And we started walking out, and I'm like, he's here. He's there. He's every fucking where. It's Roy Kent. Jackie's just like, shut up.
Yeah, Ted Lasso is a good show. Welcome to Wrexham is a good show too. So if you like the dramatic story side, go watch Ted Lasso. Yeah. And if you want the documentary side, go watch Welcome to Wrexham. They're both really good, both really interesting.
I love documentary shows too.
Yeah, they actually mention in season 2 of Ted Lasso, they actually mention Robin and Ryan in one of the scenes, because they were talking about how Wrexham has new ownership. They're like, oh yeah, these guys from Hollywood, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney just bought Wrexham. You know, I wonder if we have to play them, which they wouldn't play them, because if you know the way that
they're in different leagues.
Yeah, if you know how the UK league plays, like they're in not Premier League, they're in the league right below Premier League. The team that Ted Lasso's on. And Wrexham is like in the 5th tier, so they're not even like close. But like, yeah, gotcha. Like it would be funny if, like, you know, either Wrexham makes its way up, or they just lose so much, which I don't think they would, because the whole point of Ted being there is that he's a good coach. But anyways, the last one here, I haven't watched this. I don't know if James has watched this yet. I don't know if you watched it yet. But League of Super Pets is now on HBO Max.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I saw it in the theaters.
You saw it in theaters?
Yeah.
How'd you like it, man?
It was actually pretty funny. It's pretty funny. You know what's funny? I didn't see I missed out on the end credit scene. I saw it on YouTube, but I left the theater before I found out there was an end credit scene, which was funny, really funny.
All right.
It involved a character that's going to be introduced later on with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson playing him. So I'm not going to, spoiler alert, whatever.
Yeah.
Adam shows up.
Don't say anything. That's cool. I'm gonna have to check that out.
I actually have to go check that out.
But the overall story was good. It was pretty smart. Yeah. Yeah, I love.
Does Dwayne play both Crypto and Black Adam in that?
Stop talking about it. Let the
Black
surprise
Adam,
happen.
it's in the end credits, so it's not part of the story. He's more Crypto in this movie. So
that's what I'm saying. Is Dwayne playing both characters?
So
yes. Oh, I see what you mean. I think. Oh, you know what? I think it does sound like him. Yeah. That would make sense.
Now I really have
why would they
the meta-ness of Dwayne and Crypto. Dwayne playing Crypto and Black Adam at the same time.
I was specifically saying, don't say it, and Philippe kept asking. Some of us want to be surprised.
Well, go. Well, now you know. Now that can be on what you're watching.
You know what doesn't make James angry when I spoil things about. You know what we got right here. We got merch, people.
Got merch, people.
Oh, what?
hear how like ridiculously sad he was. You got merch, people.
The hats are going crazy. Thanks for all rocking them. Hats are $35.30 if you buy both.
the spoiling of this end credit scene for James. It's just
we also have shirts for $20, $25 if you have to ship them.
Bummed out.
DM us at Distance Nerding for your size, and thanks for spoiling things.
I know exactly how James feels right now.
It's really off to no end.
Hold on, we would not be doing justice. We have the Gotham guy here. We have Fred here. We got to talk wrestling for a quick minute. What are your thoughts on wrestling right now? Wrestling as in WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, Impact. Where do you think things are going right now?
Well, for WWE, I would say right now things are looking up. I kind of like where what Triple H is doing.
What?
I'm all for the NXT guys and the call-ups.
What?
It remains to be seen if the mainstream media, the mainstream audience, will gravitate towards that.
What?
Because one of the problems that people say with AEW is that AEW fans will watch AEW because it's wrestling, and then the casual fan be like, "Well, it's Wednesday, I'm not going to watch it." So if that's the case, then will they gravitate towards a Johnny Gargano? Or or a Butch, or whatever, or bringing in all these guys from NXT as a call up. So I think with Triple H, it's a much bigger canvas he's painting on, and right now he's bringing in all these guys from NXT. So we'll see if they can blend in with the current roster. The women's division, Bayley, Bayley's fine. I think sometimes Bayley do too much villainy. Because to me, she's too goody-goody, even though she's being a villain. It has to be organic, and it's kind of working, but sometimes it's a little too much. Becky Lynch as a heel. Old school Becky, not new Becky, old school Becky Lynch. Was that?
That was something that cracked me up about the last pay-per-view is she's so over. Bayley is so over that everybody was cheering for Bayley in at Clash at the Castle. And you see her great character and start smiling, and then she starts like cussing out the crowd because she has to be a heel. And it was just like, I love that she's so over that even like she can't even put herself in a position where she can make people hate her.
Right. I think Bayley, speaking of Bayley, I think she is so underrated. And she's been living in the shadow of Charlotte and Becky and Sasha. They all kind of stepped away. And she literally put both divisions on her back and said, I can hold this division, and she's the only relevant storyline.
Right.
Over Liv, over Bianca, over Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
Bayley's
they shouldn't even bother with that. I mean, I don't know what Triple H is going to do with Ronda. I know she's under contract, and with Vince McMahon gone, it's like, okay, he signed all these people. I can't just release them. I got to do something with them. So he got to find a way to blend this, together. The Ronda Rousey being heel thing is great, and I don't think they should try to make her face even, when she came back. Like she was a heel with Becky Lynch those years ago. To me, you should stick with that. I mean, yeah, she's star power, but you can be a heel and still be a draw. If you do it right.
Lesnar,
the whole
Lesnar,
yeah, the whole no more Mrs. Nice bitch. That was working. That was working. Yeah. So that's what I feel about now. As far as AEW, I would love if none of that drama happened after All Out, because dude, the MJF CM Punk storyline, I understand there's rumors about what's going to happen with Punk's contract and all that, but that story needs to be told. I'm sorry. It built up so well. The unveiling of him at the at the match when he won the chip, and all that, and he had the mask as the devil, the Symphony for the Devil playing, that story has, and I really think that Tony Khan, he has a tough decision to make, because if I bring Punk back, am I pissing off the Elite? If I bring the Elite back, I'm losing a storyline with MJF. I'm not saying MJF can't get over. He's already over, and he can't tell his side of the story and say, hey, all these WWE guys coming in, so I'm being champ. That can still tell his story, but it's more personal with CM Punk. We took that journey, and I just feel that the whole All Out thing, the media scrum, which is funny because nobody probably didn't know what a media scrum was until that night. They're like, what?
You guys were talking about it in the chat, and I'm just like, okay, great. It's a media scrum.
What?
And then it turned out to be the thing that changed wrestling.
Right.
Exactly. Now, having said all that, I like the other people in AEW stepping up. Moxley saying, no, I'm going to be champion again. All these matches happening. Jericho doing his matches. Daniel Garcia. I see, the Acclaimed. I see these new wrestlers that, okay, there's no Elite. There's no Punk. Let's do our thing. Let's just go. So it's a little unpredictable. But what's cool about it is that these are proven wrestlers. So they don't have to, we know what they can do. They just have to go out and just have time to do it. It's like with the women's division.
Right.
Okay, now you bring in Sahara. You have Britt Baker. You have Jamie Hayter. We thought that was going to happen, that whole breakup. Now it's not going to happen. So maybe that'll be a story where Jamie Hayter can't seem to lead Britt Baker, that maybe that's her crutch. That could be her story. I just want them to have time to do it, and now that I believe at the time Kenny Omega was in charge of the women's division, and this was like back during the days of like Rio and Nyla Rose and a whole lot of Nightmare Collective. That's how far we've come with the AEW women's division. So I'd rather have a stacked roster and not know what to do with it than to have not a good roster and be like, well, go out there and perform. Big Swole can't perform. Come on. I'm sorry. She's not wrong, whatever.
Yeah, I thought about it.
Exactly.
You're like Sahara. I was like, Sahara. Oh, you mean Soraya. Okay.
I'm sorry, Soraya. I'm sorry.
I was like, Sahara.
I got you. I was following.
Soraya. Well, it's funny. I didn't know her real name until I was like, Soraya. Oh, they're talking about Paige. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We're going to go with that.
Soraya.
Right. I'm sorry. So what they do with that, and I would love to see her against Britt Baker if she can go even for one match. I mean, they don't need a major feud, just one good match. That would be good. But they need to elevate stories that don't involve the title. Since the title right now is on Toni Storm, and you have Thunder Rosa in her intern title, she comes back, she's going to be a heel because Toni is over, but then they wanted Jamie Hayter to run with it. So I hope that doesn't hurt Toni Storm's run, but I don't think it will. I think just, you have great wrestlers, you have a big roster, just do something with it. Start doing some storylines that matter, but I think Tony Khan's the kind of person where it's like, look, I can put you out there, but if you can't do good mic skills or whatever, then I can't do it. It's like, and I think that Raw has the opposite problem where they have all these women wrestlers with all this airtime, but some are like, man, y'all need to dude, you got it. It's like, I think they get too much airtime, whereas AEW, they don't have enough airtime. So I think they have the opposite problem, so, more isn't always better. It's like, if they're slow, it took this long to get Britt Baker to where she is. It took a long time. When she was a face, the face of Pittsburgh, Britsburg, whatever. They liked her at some point, but then it's like, nah, nobody's cheering for you. So she turned heel.
It's super interesting with Britt because, they took the belt off her to build up the rest of the division. I get it. Like, Thunder Rosa and now Toni Storm, but like they took the mic away from her.
Yeah.
And that's like,
true.
That's part of her gimmick. And like, why?
Right.
Like she could be Bayley holding this division on her back as the heel, but they're not doing it.
Right. And we've got to do that. I mean, I to be honest, I haven't watched much of like Toni Storm back in NXT UK to know if she can cut a decent promo, whether it's in the ring or backstage. And when I mean backstage, I don't mean like backstage with like a one wide shot with 6 women trying to like get in one shot and start talking and they're talking over each other. Like, no, I mean like where she's walking in the hallway with the belt and she come across Thunder Rosa or something. Or Jamie Hayter's like, you beat me last time, but you got lucky or whatever. That type of stuff. That's all they need, little building blocks that matter. And they have the wrestlers to make it matter. Because they know the match is going to be great. The matches are never an issue with AEW. That's not the issue. At the end of the day, the pay-per-views always rock. Even the worst pay-per-view with the barbed wire match where the exploding barbed wire where the explosion didn't happen and people got mad. I'm like, that's force of nature. It's not their fault.
The CG, that's funny.
Yeah, little pop. Yeah, exactly. Still the pay-per-view overall was great.
Kind of like what you were mentioning is like you look at Bayley and how not only is she she's commanding in the ring, but she's also the mouthpiece for her stable. And it's like you have this is an argument I've had with James on multiple occasions about if you have a stable and you get a mouthpiece, you can have wrestlers that are good in the ring and they don't necessarily have to have mic skills because you have someone like Bayley that's talking for them, and then the rest of them, like you don't need Io Sky to talk. You can see she performs enough in the ring where she's over as her character and the fans react to her, but she hasn't said shit on the mic.
Right, exactly. And she probably can't right now. Maybe, I don't know what she did, if she did more talking NXT. It was only a 1 hour show back then before the 2 hours, so, we don't know. But right now, Bayley can be that mouthpiece. And then over time, they can find their voice and be like, shut up, Bayley, like out of nowhere, like when Kane spoke for the first time,
Yeah, same thing with Dakota Kai, right? Like Dakota Kai doesn't say very much, but she shows it in the ring, It's like that's one of the things that I feel is like with stables and you getting a mouthpiece is something that is helpful for the character because you get them over without them having to talk. But on the back end, you can practice their mic skills. They can practice their mic skills.
They could do that with Jamie Hayter right now.
Yeah.
Against Britt.
And Jamie's actually a good talker. Not only like promo, but like when she's in the ring and she's performing and she's doing like humor, she's like, what's up? Bring it on. She gets the audience into it, whatever. I mean, her old stuff and her new stuff. So, I think they will do it eventually. Maybe, Saraya, thank you. Saraya, because they're both, from England or whatever. Maybe they'll get to. Maybe she'll start to whisper in her ear, be like, "You don't need her. You don't need her. What are you doing?
We're
from the UK. That's not how we work. We wrestle together back in England, blah blah blah. Something like that. And I'm hoping that if she can't wrestle just yet, talk on the mic, do promos. Have Tony Khan give her the mic to do it, whether in the ring or just again. They need more backstage interactions. I'm not saying you have to copy Raw, but that's a good thing to do. It's not something that WWE invented.
What's funny?
WCW did. The NWA did that back in the day.
You know how they talked about the evolution of the women's division in WWE. They got all this time, all this respect, and then since the evolution, that time that was given to them has slowly been cutting down. Yeah. I think the same thing is happening in AEW because Toni Storm wrestled. She's the champ. I think the match was less than 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
On this last episode of Dynamite, I'm like, what? She's supposed to be the champ, and she got like no love.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. And again, I don't know if that's. If they're trying to tell a bigger story, that's great. I just hope that because the original plan was for it to be her against Thunder Rosa. And Thunder Rosa was kind of like, before she got injured, Tony did a match, and then she won the match. And then the camera showed Thunder Rosa backstage watching it on the view screen, on the TV. And she's kind of like, gave her a little golf clap, like, all right, she thinks she's hot shit, but she's really cold diarrhea. You know, so we're going to find out. So that was going to be the build. That would have been great because we knew the heel turn was right around the corner. You know, then she gets, you know, like injured and all that. So now you got to do a fatal 4-way. So I give Tony Khan credit for doing things when people are injured. I mean, look what happened to Forbidden Door. No Bryan Danielson, no CM Punk at Forbidden Door in Chicago at the United Center. I mean, come on. That could have been a huge disaster, but it worked out to their, you know, grip. But so you got to make this. Some decisions are going to be good. Some are going to be, you know, not so good. But
pick one show that's your favorite show right now out of all the wrestling shows on a weekly basis. What's your favorite show?
I'm not being a shill. The only reason why I'm saying I like AEW is because I want to see, I'm seeing where it is, and I'm also seeing where it's headed. You know, it's new in discovery. WWE, I'm kind of watching, and I want to see where it goes from this point. But I've been so like burnt out from like, oh, they didn't do this or they didn't do this match, and there's some characters that I'm just not interested in, like like Rey Mysterio's son. That storyline, you know, with the faction, Judgment Day. I liked it better when Edge was there. That got my attention. You know,
I actually liked it better with Edge, but again, that was a Vince decision to kind of like break that up and get him out of there. And now they're just kind of like going with what they can on there. I honestly think that he should bring back the Brood, but I mean,
there you go. You know, exactly. So I would say right now my attention has been to AEW. Plus, I watch the shows on Dark and everything. I think that again, especially with SmackDown, a whole lot of Roman Reigns opening the show. It gets a little, I mean, I was never a big Roman Reigns fan to begin with. When he was a face, when he was a heel, when he turned heel, I thought it was cool. And it was kind of shocking because you didn't see Paul Heyman to the very end when the camera cut to the left. And you saw him like, oh, just like with CM Punk when he turned heel, like, oh, that's awesome, you know. But then it was like, you know, you got to put people over, and it's just been him with the belt all this time. So that, you know, that gets kind of stale. And, you know, the Usos are great, but we've seen the Usos and the New Day wrestle so many times now to where it's like seeing the Usos every week with Roman is like, you know, and all that. So I'm waiting for that next person. You know, Austin Theory, I'm excited for him to see where he goes. You know, you know, Austin Theory.
I think they're building his stable up. You know, like I mean, we've got people from his old stable in NXT that are moving up. You know, it would make sense to put people behind him because it makes him more of a credible threat.
Right.
Especially after Triple H said that he does believe that he has potential to do great things. Like, I don't think he believes what Vince believed, that he is the future of WWE, but I think he does believe that he has a lot of potential and that he could do something really great.
But not somebody who needs to be champion right this second, cashing in the belt. I mean, cashing in the Money in the Bank. Yeah. I think they should put a pin on that for a while. Just keep the threat there for a long time.
Right.
You know, but hey, I'm not a booker. What do I know? I'm
enjoying wrestling right now too. It's you know, we talked about all these shows, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, whatever. All that comes kind of secondary as long as I get my wrestling in. So
oh, for sure. Oh yeah.
I know, right? Like,
at the same time, we're talking about all these shows that we're watching, but you know, guys, everybody out there, are you guys watching our schedule? Are you guys watching our shows? Because we do 3 a week. Nice transition, right? Guys, Tuesdays, like you're watching right now, we've got the download at 6:30 to 8. Well, typically 8:30. We're 2 hours over. And then, of course,
we had a special guest.
Yeah, I know, right? And then Thursdays, The Build from 6 to 8. If you guys haven't been paying attention, we're bringing on the one, the only Dave Hayworth, and he's going to be talking about Anna Medford. And then we're also bringing on Cam Smith this Thursday. We're going to have a good interaction on Thursday while I finish up the Batwing. Of course, on Mondays, we were talking about it earlier. I've been streaming Cyberpunk 2077 from 12 to 4. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to be doing it this Monday because I'm going to a Niner game.
Ooh.
and
Feels.
I'm going to the Niner Charger game, and I have to leave at 10 in the morning. So,
Oh yeah.
and then I have
Full
to
day
meet
for
in
me.
Walnut Creek the next day. So we're staying in Walnut Creek. So I'm not bringing all that. But yeah, on that, guys. Sorry, Cyberpunk. We're not going to be doing it this Monday, but I don't know. Maybe I'll figure out a time later on in the week to do to make up for that. But either on that, guys, check us out on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. Of course, the game streams are only on Twitch. And come and hang out with us and our nerdy friends. Set the reminder, jump into that with us, and we will get everything done. You'll get all the nerdy news, all the fun stuff like today. You'll get all the builds and the celebrity interviews, and of course, all the gaming goodness.
Huzzah!
Right.
Huzzah! Now,
Ah,
before we move on to the end here, right here, bro, Fred, I need you to go ahead and give us your pluggables, man. Where can people find you, man?
you can find me on Instagram, Gotham Guy 1. That's my Instagram name right there. I do have a YouTube channel, but I don't have a lot of content. I did go to Silicon Valley Comic Con a few weeks ago. I haven't downloaded it yet, but I will probably within a week. So there'll be some new content for that.
Nice.
If you go on YouTube and type Gotham Guy, you'll see a little icon of a little black guy and a Batman mask on a computer, on a little game controller watching TV. That's me. So that's supposed to be
Very
me.
on the nose. It's very on the nose.
Exactly. So Gotham Guy. So that's where you can find me on that.
Are
Facebook.
you a member of the Fox family?
Yes, I'm also a member of the Fox family. Oh, no.
Yeah, I was just throwing that out there because both Lucius Fox's sons have been Batman at this point.
Why not? Everyone else has.
Yeah, his
I might as well be like, hey, Lucius, where's my outfit?
so I'm saying
Where's mine,
his oldest son is now Batwing, and he's like Batman adjacent, and then his youngest son was the latest Batman.
Ah, I think there was a Batman movie, animated movie where he was Batwing, the son of Batwing.
Yeah. The controversy was that a lot of people were like, Batman can't be black. It was like, well, he's wearing a full face mask like Terry McGinnis. So yeah.
Right, so he can be whatever.
And anyways, I don't want to jump into another tangent.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, but yeah, you can find me on that. At Gotham Guy 1. There you go. Cool. That's my Instagram. Facebook, Frederick Jackson. I'm always posting random stuff on Best Buy. We have PlayStation 5s today at work, so I think I was going to send a post for that, but I didn't. But I will next time we get it in stock. So if you want to get a PS5 at Best Buy in Pleasant Hill, I'll be sure to put that out there when we get them in case you want to pick one up for the rush, stuff like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are my three channels. Hope to add more content on my YouTube channel. I promise I will. Just I want to get new equipment and everything. I want to be like you guys. I want to do it right.
I mean, you guys sell that stuff at Best Buy, right? There you go.
We do, yeah. So I have no excuse at this point. Yeah.
And you can get that Best Buy that plush ass Best Buy discount. So I mean,
yeah, more than 10%. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, you can find us wherever social media exists at Distance Nerding. So that is at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, all at Distance Nerding.
Have something you want to discuss? Tell us what you're nerding out on, and make sure to let us know in the Facebook group, the Distance Nerdington Post.
Now, guys, I'm going to get real intimate with you right now.
Oh.
You can do this. All you have to do is go to www.distancenerding.com. You can buy us a taco. Guys, you can get us tacos. All you have to do is go to distancenerding.com, hit that buy us a taco button, and it helps us kind of continue going on with what we do here. It funds everything we do for the show, so we can do more appearances, we can buy more prizes, we can get more stickers, and of course try and give it all back to you guys. So we appreciate everybody who buys us a taco, because you guys are the real MVPs. Be a part of the taco party.
Be a part of the taco party. Thanks, and keep nerding together.
Oh, we lost it for a second there.
Whoa.
All right. I was gonna say he's
like a taco party.
Exactly. He's leaving before the dance party. Come on, man.
He wanted to go get tacos.
Dance party time. Legit dancing.
Distance nerding.
Guys that are definitely not friends. Thanos and War Machine. Pretty sure they don't like each other. This is wet.
The Raiders. Still in package, Mario.
And Yoshi.
Yoshi. Let's go.